Chapter 532. He didn't think that the children in their country were worse than the children abroad. All they lacked was time to change the current situation. Back home. Bei Yunj glanced at the messages. Most of the messages were from Professor Do. Professor Do, how's the solution coming along? Very soon. Bei Yunj replied. Bei Yunj, not very good. Seeing this message, Professor Do felt inexplicably guilty. He kept feeling that Bei Yunj's attitude didn't seem right. Could it be that she had found out that he had deliberately given her questions? The next moment, Professor Do sent another message. Before Bei Yunj could read it, she received a call. Teacher. Bei Yunj could tell that it was Tich's voice. Tich was a little nervous. Are you busy? No, what's the matter? Bei Yunj sat down and threw the thick stack of draft paper into a wire basket that she usually used. I just arrived in Yuncheng. Teacher, are you free tomorrow? Bei Yunj thought for a moment. Saturday. Is that okay? Tomorrow happened to be Chu Zhixing's birthday. Sure. Tich was a little flattered. Because it was the first time she was talking to Bei Yunj alone, she was extremely nervous. All right then. Good night. Bei Yunj responded lazily. Good night, teacher. After Tich finished speaking, she couldn't control her excitement. In a high-end hotel. As soon as Tich landed, he couldn't help but say, Teacher just said good night to me. Jasmine. But we're not at night. That's what teacher said. When Tich thought of how good-looking his teacher was, he started to blush. Jasmine, this was the extent of the otaku. At this moment. In the lobby of the hotel, two handsome foreign men with exquisite facial features had attracted the attention of many people because of their presence. So handsome. Someone couldn't help but sigh softly. Sure enough, all good-looking young men, regardless of nationality, were very eye-catching. Until 2 hours later. In the top 3 of the hot search list, there were also corresponding terms such as #Yuncheng chanced encounter with the top rich second generation of our nation #Tich, and #Jasmine. This caused a lot of discussion among the citizens. Jasmine, I can. As expected of the son of the heavenly queen, he's so handsome. Who's the handsome guy next to Jasmine? Beauties, quickly arrange the information. DBQ, I just connected to the internet. I don't know about Jasmine either. Popular Science Post, Jasmine is the son of Winslina, one of the top rich second-generation heirs in our nation. His father is the leader of the fashion industry, which is one of the top 10 fashion companies in the world. Not many people might know Tich, but everyone must know about the Delaney Group. Tich was the only son of the founder of the Delaney Group. They really were all second-generation rich kids. Moreover, he is young and rich. F***ck. I was shocked by the post. I thought he was just an ordinary handsome guy. What is this rich second generation doing in Yun City? I remember that the rich people overseas are very repulsive towards us continents. Everyone was puzzled. Tich and Jasmine weren't ordinary rich people either. They were the top rich second generation heirs of our nation. But soon, there was an answer. Those in the academic circle, come and say something. As far as I know, it's very likely that they're here to participate in the academic exchange. It happened to be held in Yun City this year. OS, Jasmine and Tich are interns at the Institute of Computational Technology in our nation. F***ck, students. Chapter 533. He's handsome, but his teacher is. That's not right. Even if his teacher is an intern at Country R's Institute of Computational Technology, he shouldn't be qualified to participate in this academic exchange, right? Yeah, and didn't something happen to Marcus recently? The intern doesn't have an invitation, but he definitely has one. Isn't he spoiling his students too much? Boo-hoo, I want to be his student too. Upstairs, why are you so drunk? The rich second-generation heirs are outstanding interns, so they have the chance to be his students. What everyone didn't expect was that the main character would respond very quickly. Jasmine, this is my first post on Country A's social media site. Please take care of me in the future. Seeing this post, the netizens were all excited. Jae-ming, groundhog screams, he actually opened an official account. Hubby, do you lack money? Calm down, don't let Jasmine think that Country A's girls are like wolves and tigers. As soon as this message was posted, he immediately received a reply from the main character. Jasmine replied, that won't happen. Hahaha, Jasmine is so cute. However, at this moment, Jasmine, who knew what the netizens meant through the translation, felt that the netizens were ridiculous. Like wolves and tigers. That didn't exist. Every time he handed in his report in class, he could only feel his teacher's indescribable disdain and coldness. At this moment, the netizens were still very curious about the top rich second-generation heirs. Jasmine, are you here to participate in the academic exchange? Soon, Jasmine replied. Yes, I'm here to see teacher too. Seeing Jasmine's reply, everyone could roughly guess what kind of status he had in the hearts of Jasmine's students. They didn't know whether to be envious that he had two rich second-generation heirs as students or that he had a big boss as a teacher. Baiyue. The next day, Bae-yunj woke up early in the morning and went downstairs while rubbing her face. Miss, what's wrong with your face? Auntie Meow saw it from the corner of her eye and asked with concern. Bae-yunj said, no, it's a toothache. Miss, could it be a wisdom tooth? Auntie Meow asked worriedly. If it was a wisdom tooth, she would have to go and get it removed. Bae-yunj, it really did look like wisdom teeth. Miss, do you want to go to the hospital after school? Bae-yunj shook her head. Not yet. She still had to go to Chu Zhixing's birthday party tonight. Bae-yunj, who had woken up earlier than usual because her wisdom teeth hurt, did not see Huashidu sitting on the sofa and reading the newspaper. About 10 minutes later, the man went downstairs and saw Bae-yunj sitting on the sofa. You're up so early today. Huashidu chuckled. Sir, Miss seems to have wisdom teeth, Aunt Meow said with a frown. Those who did not know better would think that Bae-yunj had contracted some strange disease. Huashidu looked at the girl on the sofa who seemed a little unhappy. He could not help but smile. All right, I got it. Aunt Meow was relieved to hear Huashidu's words. Then I'll go and wake the young master up. Aunt Meow smiled and went upstairs. At this moment, Bae-yunj was still browsing through the literature in boredom, but the existence of wisdom teeth was still hard to ignore. Suddenly, a warm and cool touch gently pressed against Bae-yunj's cheek. This made Bae-yunj subconsciously turn her head, and her red lips brushed past the back of the man's index finger. The itchy feeling of a feather brushing past made the man's gaze darken in an instant, but it quickly returned to normal. Chapter 534. Bae-yunj glanced at him. It's all right. It was just that her tooth hurt in the middle of the night and she couldn't sleep much. Huashidu curled his lips and scratched her chin casually. Let's go eat first. I'll get Sing-su to apply for leave for you. Apply for leave? Yes, I'll bring you to the clinic later. In the car, Bae-yunj sat in the front passenger seat and suddenly asked, Brother, don't you have a lot of work to do in the company? It's all right. The other people in charge will do as they see fit. Huashidu said nonchalantly. Hearing this, Bae-yunj did not say anything. But in the next moment, Huashidu's phone rang. He casually pressed the answer button in the car. His handsome eyes were indifferent as he said casually, What's the matter? Master Du, have you forgotten what we have today? Bae-yunj could tell that it was Yu Hanran's voice. I have something on today. Huashidu spoke unhurriedly. When Yu Hanran heard this, he immediately asked, What happened? The man's tone was light. I'm taking my child to the hospital. Yu Hanran's voice sounded even more concerned. What's wrong with her? Is she sick? Wisdom teeth extraction. Yu Hanran, he did not care about the company's negotiations just to accompany Bei Yunj to have her wisdom teeth extracted. He almost thought that no matter how weak Bei Yunj was, she would at least have a high fever. In the end, she was just going to have her wisdom teeth extracted. Yu Hanran took a deep breath and put on a fake smile. Master Du, when I was young, I always went to the hospital alone to have my wisdom teeth extracted. Yes, I need you to go to a meeting alone now. Huashida's low and lazy voice sounded. In the next second, the call was hung up. 5:16 Yu Hanran, who was hung up, Huashida was really done for this time. He had already doted on her to this extent. He was really crazy. In a private clinic, Huashidu brought Bei Yunj upstairs. Then, a handsome man in a white coat walked over. There was a hint of playfulness in his eyes. Master Du, what's wrong with this little girl? This was the first time he saw Huashidu bring someone to this clinic. However, this young lady's appearance was indeed excessively beautiful. She was a femme fatale. Huashidu said casually, let's check. She has a toothache. She must have grown wisdom teeth. Jiang Baichuan raised his eyebrows and looked at Bei Yunj again. Toothache? He thought that Huashidu had done something to harm the little girl, so he brought the little girl here to do that. In the end, he only brought a little girl here to pull out a tooth. Aren't you looking for teeth? Huashidu's gaze landed on him. Yes, yes. Jiang Baichuan chuckled and couldn't help but look at Bei Yunj. Little girl, let's go. I'll take you to fill out a form. After Bei Yunj left with the nurse, Jiang Baichuan asked curiously, Master Du, is this your relative? No. The man was nonchalant. Alright, I got it. Jiang Baichuan snorted. When he saw the way Huashidu looked at Bei Yunj, he roughly understood Huashidu's attitude towards this little girl. In this aspect, men knew men the best. Suddenly, Huashidu asked, will it hurt to pull out wisdom teeth? Jiang Baichuan looked at him subconsciously. After the tooth was pulled out, Bei Yunj walked out with a dark expression. Her usually smiling eyes were cold. She had an aura that said, do not disturb others. Chapter 535. Bei Yunj looked down and saw a cute little boy. His big eyes were bright and clear as he said in admiration, Sister is so cool. I didn't even hear you cry out in pain. Bei Yunj was originally unhappy, but when she heard this, her expression became much better. She had just pulled out her tooth and was still biting on a cotton ball to stop the bleeding. She could not speak and could only raise her eyebrows lazily. She reached out to touch the child's head and walked out of the long corridor. At this moment, the little boy turned around and saw a young man walking over. He blinked his big eyes and his eyes curved unconsciously. Sister is so gullible. The man's thin lips curled up and the corners of his upturned eyes were charming. He bent his knees and looked into the child's eyes. He handed him a box of chocolates. His deep voice had a hint of playfulness and laziness. Yes, because big sister is also a child. The man seemed to have thought of something and chuckled. She's much harder to coax than you. Thank you, dear brother. The little boy's eyes sparkled when he saw the entire box of chocolates. Then, he carried the big box of chocolates and ran away happily. After returning, there was hot porridge on the table. Huashidu saw that Bei Yunj did not eat much porridge in the morning. She must be hungry now. He glanced at his watch and saw that it was about time. He sat in front of Bei Yunj and gently scooped the porridge with his slender and good-looking hand. Auntie Meow just made it. It's a little hot. The man's clean white shirt cuffs were rolled up to his elbows in a refined manner. His handsome and noble eyes could not hide his elegance. His tone was light. Come here, I'll feed you. Bei Yunj looked at Huashidu's face and started to be bewitched again. Huashidu also felt that the little girl was staring straight at him without hiding anything. The corners of his thin red lips curled up as he carefully fed Bei Yunj the porridge that had cooled down. He looked up. Seeing the little girl looking at him with a touching gaze, Hwashidu was a little amused. His voice was lazy and irredeemably sexy. Are you so touched, Yunyun? Bae-yunj nodded without thinking. Ching ching. Yes. After all, this was the first time he had been served like this. The man's eyes were dark and unreadable. Suddenly, he leaned closer to her. His deep and magnetic voice hid a hint of a smile as he whispered into her ear, then, in the future, would you allow me to wear the cat ears that you collected from the market for me to see? Bae-yunj. Don't even think about it. The man curled his lips. If you're not saying anything, I'll take it as a yes. She quickly swallowed the porridge and seriously refused, no. Then Yunyun agrees. The man chuckled in a low voice and rubbed his fingers against her cheek intimately and happily. Bae-yunj, who was ignored. Evening. Bae-yunj followed the address and went to the private room booked by Chu Zhixing. He found that the people inside were all competing in drinking. Bae-yunj, Master Pei. One of the boys looked at Bae-yunj, who was wearing a black mask, and shouted suspiciously. Bae-yunj hummed lightly and walked into the private room to sit down. Yunj, can I drink? Lu Yuanxi originally wanted to ask Bae-yunj to drink with him, but he suddenly remembered that Bae-yunj was a girl. Bae-yunj shook her head. That's strange. Master Pei, aren't you being too reserved today? Lu Yuanxi had a feeling that Bae-yunj's aggressiveness seemed to have decreased a lot. Bae-yunj. Chapter 536. Bae-yunj looked at him silently for a while before she turned around indifferently. I just had my wisdom teeth extracted. Lu Yuanxi was speechless. Everyone was speechless. At first, they thought that Bae-yunj had gone to Yun University. They did not expect her to have her teeth extracted. Originally, on this day, everyone was going to have hot pot after singing. However, they were worried that Bae-yunj might not be able to do it, so they could only change it to having porridge together. However, Bae-yunj did not expect to bump into Yu Manran the moment she came back from the washroom. Yunj? Yu Manran sounded surprised. Why are you here? Bae-yunj asked. Me? I came with my manager. Wait a minute, Yunj, your voice is a little strange. Yu Manran grabbed Bae-yunj's hand. Do you have a cold? No, I just had my wisdom teeth extracted, Bae-yunj said lazily. At this moment, Bae-yunj did not realize that she was much more patient than before. Really? Let me tell you, when my brother came back from having his wisdom teeth extracted, he almost cried in pain. Yu Manran looked shocked. Bae-yunj was speechless. No wonder Yu Hanran's tone did not sound too good today. Before they went back, Chu Zhixing and the rest had cancelled many projects, probably because Bae-yunj had just had her teeth extracted. But before she left, Lu Yuanxi stuffed a firecracker into her hand. Bae-yunj raised an eyebrow slowly, her eyes filled with doubt. The boy was wearing a simple black t-shirt. His handsome eyes were a little cynical. Under the night light, his dark eyes were deep and light. A low and casual teenage voice sounded teasingly. Our master Pei's firecracker. For a few days. Bae-yunj did not go to the computing institute either, so she did not know what had happened in the scientific research field these few days. Until Saturday. 33 Bae-yunj asked Tich and Jasmine to meet at a cafe. When do you think the teacher will come? Jasmine was inexplicably nervous. Tich was speechless. 2 days ago, when he was nervous, Jasmine had mocked him for being useless. Now that they were about to meet, he had calmed down a little, but Jasmine was starting to get nervous. Soon. Tich would look out from time to time, but this was probably because they had been on the hot search list once. Many people kept looking at them. Seeing that the agreed time was almost up, Jasmine's gaze landed on Tich and he immediately reached out to fix Tich's collar. Your collar is a little crooked. The next moment, Tich tacitly reached out his hand and helped Jesse adjust his tie. Yours too. Seeing this, the girls who wanted to ask for his contact information immediately gave up on the idea. Bei Yunj, who had just arrived, didn't even have time to take off her mask before she saw this scene. Bei Yunj, in the entire restaurant, only this table was filled with foreigners, so it was easy to recognize them. "What are you doing?" Bei Yunj asked slowly. Hearing this familiar voice and the familiar way of asking questions, Tich and Roland inexplicably stiffened. The suffocating feeling from class returned. Teacher. Tich and Jasmine were about to stutter. They looked at the girl in front of them who was wearing a hat and a mask. Even her eyes couldn't be seen clearly. They were inexplicably incoherent. They actually saw a living teacher today. Both of their hearts were in a state of shock. Bei Yunj thought for a moment. "What would you like to drink?" "My treat." "Okay." Chapter 537. Where's Marcus? Didn't he come with you? After ordering the drinks, Bei Yunj asked casually. Instantly, Jasmine and Tich froze, not daring to look Bei Yunj in the eye. "No, he didn't come." Bei Yunj sensed that something was wrong and her tone became indifferent. "He didn't come." At this moment, the two of them did not dare to speak. "You're hiding something from me," Bei Yunj said casually, as if she was just stating a fact. "Teacher, Jasmine and Tich's expressions changed. They were afraid of making Bei Yunj unhappy. "Alright, go back early after drinking." Bei Yunj's tone was indifferent, and no emotions could be seen in her eyes. However, when Jasmine and Tich heard this, they immediately panicked. "Teacher, we didn't mean to hide it from you." Tich could not help but tell the truth. "Yes, something happened to Marcus, so he couldn't come. He didn't want us to tell you." Jasmine's voice became softer and softer, but Bei Yunj heard it very clearly. "What happened?" Bei Yunj frowned unconsciously. Jasmine and Tich looked at each other. In the end, Tich told her everything. Marcus was reported for vicious competition and has been suspended. After all, Marcus's Computing Institute was not a private research institute like the Computing Institute. Our nation's Institute of Computing Technology was a public research institute. Suspended? Bei Yunj frowned unconsciously. Although Marcus was nominated for Busaka this year, he did not win the award. However, his position in our nation's computing field was unshakable. Originally, our research institute agreed that we could transfer Marcus to the director position this year, but at this juncture, Marcus was reported. The people in the institute were also very worried, but now the director position had been taken over. Marcus was suspended, and they did not know if he could come back. Do you know the reason? Bei Yunj poked at the straw in her cup. They suspect that Marcus used you for vicious competition. Tich glanced at Bei Yunj and said. Indeed. During this period of time, the name, T, had been highly praised in the scientific research field. He was the most anticipated newcomer. Naturally, he was being stared at by countless pairs of eyes. In the eyes of ordinary people, the scientific research community was perhaps the cleanest existence. But in reality, as long as there are people, it is impossible to avoid the good and evil of human nature. Because of me? Bei Yunj's eyes darkened. She didn't care much about her reputation, so she never cared about her reputation outside. But he did not expect that it would affect Marcus. Teacher, don't blame yourself. You're also a victim in this matter. Moreover, Marcus knows that you've encountered a lot of trouble in your country, so he doesn't want you to be implicated. Jasmine comforted. Bei Yunj nodded. Alright, I think I know what to do now. Those people said nothing more than that her academic results in the circle were falsified and used this matter to attack Marcus. After chatting for a while, Bei Yunj received a message. Hello, may I know who you are? I'm Superintendent Jose. I'm very happy that I can work with you in the future. The new superintendent is called Jose. Bei Yunj casually glanced at the content below and asked casually. Yes. Jasmine nodded and realized that Jose might have sent a message to Bei Yunj. However, the next moment, Bei Yunj blocked this number without looking at it. Chapter 538. This new director's behavior was rather interesting. Everyone knew that Marcus was the one who brought him into the institute. Everyone also knew that Marcus was indebted to him. However, now, he didn't mention anything about Marcus. Instead, he wanted to steal Marcus's talent. Bei Yunj snorted lightly. When Jasmine and Tich saw their teacher's actions, they roughly knew that the new director had encountered a cold rebuff. As expected. After sending the message. Seeing that there was no reply, Jones couldn't help but send a few more messages, but they all sank into the sea. His expression changed, and he made another call. However, after a beep, he could only hear the cold female voice of the caller ID. It was obvious that he had been blacklisted. This. Jones's face instantly turned green. In the entire institute, no one dared to disobey him like this. After eating with Tich and Jasmine, Bei Yunj went home first. On the way, she received an unknown phone call. But when she heard this angry voice, she guessed who this person was. You really dare to go against me? Do you know that Marcus will be nothing soon? How dare you provoke me like this? Bei Yunj laughed, her eyes filled with coldness that was not a smile. She was arrogant and careless. Really? Then who do you think you are? Instantly, Jones's expression changed. And Bei Yunj couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with him. She directly hung up the phone and called Marcus instead. Hello? Who is it? The voice from the other end sounded a little drunk. If you're delirious, I'll call you again tomorrow, Bei Yunj said slowly. Hearing the familiar voice, Marcus sobered up. Marcus probed. I heard that you've been suspended. When did this happen? Bei Yunj's tone sounded like she was asking Marcus how the weather was today. But Marcus was still quite afraid that Bei Yunj would be angry. This was half a month ago. Marcus said cautiously. Bei Yunj said leisurely, you guys hit it well. Are you angry? No. Bei Yunj leaned lazily against the car seat and said unhurriedly, it just so happens that we have less than 7 days to terminate the contract. Marcus. Heartless girl. After a while. Marcus sighed again and smiled helplessly, this time's matter has taught me a lesson. Fortunately, you still have a week before your contract is terminated. Otherwise, people like Jose would never let Bei Yunj off the hook. Marcus. Bei Yunj suddenly shouted. Marcus subconsciously asked, what's wrong? What's the big deal? Just treat it as a holiday. I'll let you come back. Bei Yunj looked at the scenery outside the window. The emotions in her beautiful eyes did not change, and her languid tone sounded as unruly as ever. Marcus' eyes were swollen and he was deeply moved. I'll never tell anyone that you have a bad temper again. Bei Yunj, the next day. The international media once again hyped up the incident at Country R's Institute of Computational Technology. The reason was that the new director was suspected of purging the institute and wanted to remove it. And at this time, Hung Chongjin, who had found an opportunity, naturally did not forget to fan the flames. Seeing that the scientific research field could create such a big commotion, the rest of the public was also very concerned about this matter. It wasn't until this afternoon that Jones accepted an interview. Chapter 539. Everyone looked at Jose, who was standing in front of the spotlight, looking like a gentle old scholar. Is that so? This is a private matter of the Research Institute. However, it is true that she is loyal to Marcus. His words were tactful, but it also told everyone that the report in the morning was not wrong. She was going to leave the Institute of Computational Technology. At this moment, someone in the Computing Institute could not sit still anymore. Where did this old trash come from? How dare he purge my student? Is he tired of living? Nancy's expression turned ugly. Looking at Jose's proud face in front of the spotlight, she was so angry that smoke was coming out of her head. At this moment, Zhong Xinglin did not correct Nancy. Control yourself. I called just now. She told me not to interfere. She is going to be despised by everyone. Why are you not interfering? Nancy's eyes widened. Don't be anxious. You can tell everyone that she is your student. This can indeed solve the crisis for a while. But at that time, he will be watched by even more pairs of eyes. Zhong Xinglin glanced at him. Besides, don't you know that she is from your family? If others knew that Nancy had chosen a successor, Bei Yunj would live in fear for the rest of her life. After all, those people from the Higgins family would do anything in order to fight for the successor. Then what can we do? This is the last resort. Let's wait first. Zhong Xinglin clenched his fists. His palms were sweaty. Anyway, no matter what. The successor of the Computing Institute would be Bei Yunj. Even if that old thing was suspended from the Institute of Computational Technology, he could still come to his Computing Institute. Anyway, they would quarrel even if they did not meet. In the bedroom, Bei Yunj scanned the manuscript that she had been working on all day. 2:58. Her eyes darkened. At that moment, she clicked the mouse and sent the email. A few days later. This matter was getting bigger and bigger. Even Zhong Xinglin could not sit still. But when he walked out of the door angrily to look for Nancy, he saw Bei Yunj squatting in the courtyard, watering the flowers. Zhong Xinglin, it was true that Bei Yunj had a good mentality. If it were anyone else, they would be pouring water on their own heads instead of the flower's head. He walked closer to Bei Yunj and asked gently, are you, all right? That's good. The matter should be settled soon. Bei Yunj narrowed her beautiful eyes and glanced at the sun in the sky. Is it going to be resolved? Zhong Xinglin suspected that Bei Yunj was talking in his sleep. Yes. After Bei Yunj finished watering one basin, she switched to another one. Most likely, he was talking in his sleep. Yunj, why don't you just make a statement and say that you came to the Computing Institute? This way, people won't keep slandering you. If I do, those people will say it too, and they'll even bring you along. Bei Yunj glanced at Zhong Xinglin and chuckled. Let's wait a little longer. Hearing the main character say this, Zhong Xinglin could not do anything no matter how anxious he was. The next day. The notice of delisting from the Institute of Computational Technology in our nation was officially released, causing the outside world to discuss fervently. Hong Chongjin seemed to have fulfilled his last wish in life. He was happy and smug. Now that Marcus was done for, Zhong Xinglin would also be implicated. After all, Marcus and Zhong Xinglin were so close. Chapter 540. However, in the afternoon, a group of people on the internet had just started to follow the trend and criticize. All of a sudden, something strange began to happen. Farisk Mathematics Award. Congratulations to the following scholars for being nominated for this year's Farisk Mathematics Award. 1. Cesar Frank, Our Nation. 2. Sammy Khan, Our Nation. 3. Tenya Yabuno, J Nation. 4. A Nation. The above rankings are listed in order of nomination. Thank you for your attention throughout the year. The news was only posted on the official website. Initially, no one paid attention to it because there were not many mathematicians in a nation. However, when it spread to the internet, the news started to blow up. This was not because of the nomination of a person from a nation, but because on the same day, the official website released an announcement. 3 of the 8,000 questions had been successfully solved. And this year, 2 of them were solved by the same person. This made everyone in disbelief. They did not know where this god came from to do such a crazy thing. Solving 2 of the 8,000 questions at once, this was something that they would not even dare to dream about before today. However, when everyone saw the signature of the person who solved the 8,000 questions, their bodies froze. On the title of the official website, the signature was in bold. Soon. The discussion on the internet was in full swing. Everyone was criticizing the new director of our nation's Institute of Computational Technology, Jones. They blamed Jones for going overboard and removing him from the institute. This was the person who solved the 8,000 questions, and he solved more than one question. And he was chased back to a nation. What kind of idiot could do such a thing? Hence, an hour later, under the anger of the public, a large number of online protests began, demanding the replacement of the new director, Jones. Everyone in the upper echelons knew about this matter. 80-90. As for the masses from other countries, many of them were watching the show as well. After all, this was not the first time our nation liked to poach researchers from other countries. Who would have thought that this time, a real god would come, and in the end, he would be personally chased out by his subordinates. This was enough to make our nation's enemies laugh for an entire year. At the same time, there was also a heated discussion on the internet in a nation. The entries about the 8,000 questions hashtag, and the nomination for the Farisk Prize hashtag were all firmly at the top of the list. There was even a dark red word next to it. The reversal in the morning and afternoon was also very suffocating. Many people tagged Hung Chongjin under this post. At Hung Chongjin, can you explain? Can you answer 1,008 questions? Confused. A plaything of capital. Are you sure? At Hung Chongjin, come out and take a beating at Hung Chongjin. At this moment, Hung Chongjin, who had received so many private messages, was very puzzled at first. However, when he saw these entries, he understood. His expression changed, and he immediately clicked to read the content. A few minutes later, he unconsciously took a few steps back. His legs were weak, and his entire body was trembling. Impossible, how is this possible? How could there be someone who could solve the question? Why did this person have to be? At this moment, Hung Chongjin felt that his qi and blood were not flowing smoothly. He blacked out and collapsed. The other students in the same research room were shocked, and they quickly sent him to the hospital. At this moment, discussions were still going on online. They're all humans, so why are they so smart? My scalp is numb. Seriously. How many years has it been since our country had a mathematician? Chapter 541. My computer science professor at Neely University is already cursing in front of the entire class. There's a shortage of people in the computer science field. Jose is forcing people into the field of mathematics. F***ck, why do I feel like a demon king is going to appear in the scientific research field? I'm tired of saying this. Now I just want to say, awesome. Sob sob sob. Come back quickly. Well, thank you, people of our nation, for sending back. We're very satisfied, dog head, aw. Daddy, bring our country's scientific research forward. However, what was even more unpredictable was, about an hour later, there was also a movement on the official website of the K.Z. Busaka Computer Award. K.Z. Busaka Computer Award, congratulations to the first K.Z. Busaka Award candidate. Thank you for your contribution to the field of computing. At the same time, thank you for your support for the annual Busaka Award. After this message, there was a translation in country A's language, as if they were afraid that they would not understand their intentions. And immediately after, when this news spread to the internet, it almost paralyzed the headlines. Busaka almost made "Love Me Again" on the public screen this year. Ha 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 ha, Busaka is no longer the noble and cold Busaka Award. Do you know that your awards ceremony only ended half a month ago? It'll be at least 8 to 9 months before your next candidate list is announced, right? He's anxious, he's anxious, he's anxious. Ha 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 ha, after all, his opponent is Farisk. He's starting to be afraid. F***ck, there are so many strange things this year. When did Busaka become an official announcement for each candidate? Dog head, I'm going crazy. Ha ha ha, is this the year of country A in the scientific research world? I'm happy. In the end. Love House. The Busaka Award was held by Country R, but the Our Nation R's scientific research and political circles were distinct and had always been in a state of irrelevance. Therefore, they did not want to dislike the Our Nation R's scientific research and computing field because of Jose, who was appointed by the higher-ups. Moreover, the Our Nation R's scientific research community had always hated the involvement of the higher-ups in such matters. Therefore, this time, Jose's public outburst had also hit the Our Nation R's scientific research community. In the scientific research community, no matter how many dirty tricks there were, strength was still the absolute king. At this moment, Jose was stunned. Busaka and Farizik, to be nominated for 2 international awards in 1 year, this was an achievement that most people would never be able to achieve in their lifetime. How is this possible? How is this possible? Jose held his head with both hands, his face contorted in pain. He knew it was all over. If the higher-ups knew about this, they would definitely drag him down. It wasn't just to appease the masses, it was also to appease them. After all, no one would provoke a top researcher. But in the past 3 years, he had prepared so much just to replace Marcus. And the result? In the end, he had only been the new director for less than a month, at this moment. Marcus was still playing games. His eyes were bloodshot, and he was yawning and not shaving. He did not believe that Bai Yunj could really bring him back. He just felt that it was good that Bai Yunj had the intention to do so. But in the next moment, Marcus received a phone call. Is it Marcus? The other party's voice was too gentle, making Marcus frown. What? Chapter 542. Oh. Just as Marcus was about to hang up the phone, he suddenly reacted and sobered up. What did you say? I've been reinstated and promoted again. Yes, you really have good taste. There's also this trump card. Marcus instinctively asked, are you still asleep? What a joke. Even his friends could not help him with this matter. Gu had just entered the scientific research field. What could she do? The other party probably did not expect Marcus to say this. Then, he put on a fake smile. You probably didn't see the news. She was just nominated for the Farizik Prize because of the 8,000 questions. 8,000 questions? Although Marcus was in the computing field, he still had a deep impression of the 8,000 questions in the mathematics world. After so many years, only one mathematician had solved one. Yes, she solved 2 questions. Currently, the professors of the mathematics department at Neely University are studying these 2 questions. Marcus? Was he really not hallucinating? She solved the 8,000 questions. When he regained his senses, Marcus could not help but gasp. So this was the method Bai Yunj had mentioned. Jones and the others had plotted, saying that he had created a genius persona for his members, that there was vicious competition in the academic circle, and that it was morally corrupt. In the end, this person had simply played a big game and made this persona a reality. Other than Zhong Xinglin, there were also 2 people from the Computing Institute who could not recover at once. The 2 of them were in a daze and could not believe it. Did I hear wrongly? It's the 8,000 questions. Nance's hands were trembling. He had originally thought that this young lady was quite talented in computing, but in the end, she had solved 2 of the 8,000 questions at once. I found out when I was chatting with the professor next door. Professor Do from the department next door gave the 8,000 questions Bai Yunj. Si Qingyan took a deep breath and subconsciously pursed his lips. The mathematics department was still in a heated discussion. He also knows that Bai Yunj is. Zhong Xinglin immediately asked. Si Qingyan shook his head. No, I heard him mention it casually. He thinks Bai Yunj is a talented girl, so he wants to suppress Bai Yunj's arrogance with these questions. But this was the result. What Professor Do did not expect was that the super genius he was talking about was Bai Yunj, the person he wanted to suppress. You must keep your mouth shut. Don't let anyone else know. At this moment, Zhong Xinglin felt his scalp tingle. Now, he already had Marcus and Stephen, and now there was Nancy. He didn't want anyone else to come and snatch the successor from him. Even if others don't know, there are many people in the industry who want to poach him. Si Chengyan's eyelids twitched. You guys probably don't know. Yesterday, Hung Chongjin found out that he solved 1,000 questions and fainted from anger. He's already lying in the hospital. The innate talent of some people was indeed too terrifying. They already thought that Bei Yunja's talent was monstrous enough. But who would have thought that today's situation would occur? He was going crazy. Nancy, Zhong Xinglin, that's right. Those with poor tolerance would easily take things too hard. In the afternoon, all the computing institutes were informed to have a meeting, including the Computing Institute. As soon as Marcus returned, he was called by Neely University, who repeatedly asked for a portrait. They even asked if he had any intention of becoming an honorary professor of Neely University. This made it difficult for Marcus to answer. Chapter 543. Although Bei Yunj did not explain these things, with Bei Yunja's character, she would not agree to it either. Marcus turned a blind eye and sent Bei Yunja's email to the people from Neely University. In the following period of time, this name was discussed for a long time, but no one was as hateful as before. After that, another piece of news about Qin Youjiao broke out and quickly became a trending topic. Hashtag Qin Youjiao, International Musicians Association hashtag soon, because Qin Youjiao was not even 20 years old, she entered the International Musicians Association and became popular on the internet again. However, this time, Qin Youjiao's popularity even had fans outside the internet. In the afternoon, Bei Yunj was on her way to the Computing Institute. What are you thinking? You actually let Qin Youjiao enter the International Musicians Association? Yu Manran was about to crack. She thought that with Bei Yunja's temper, she would not let Qin Youjiao enter the International Musicians Association. What's wrong? Bei Yunj asked carelessly as she glanced at the scenery outside the window. Today, Qin Youjiao's marketing is more than an artiste like me. She can't wait to let the world know that she's a young genius pianist. When Yu Manran said the last term, he chuckled. Marketing what? Bei Yunj raised an eyebrow. The International Musicians Association. Entering the International Musicians Association is a qualitative leap in status. Yu Manran really wanted to tell everyone that her was much more outstanding than that young genius pianist. If it wasn't for Yun, how could she, Qin Youjiao, have the chance to go to the International Musicians Association? What's there to market? Bei Yunj snorted, her fingers still on the keyboard as she said carelessly with lowered eyes, I went to apply for a spot for you. You can also study in the International Musicians Association. When you pass the exam, you can stay in the International Musicians Association. With that said, the other party seemed to be silent for a long time. Then an excited scream sounded, almost making Bei Yunj's hands tremble, and she deleted the document. Bei Yunj was speechless. Really? Sob, you're too good to me. Then can I hang up first? Bei Yunj asked slowly. Yu Manran refused. No. Bei Yunj raised her eyebrows. Why do you have so much to say? Do you want to chat with me? It's really important this time. Did Master Du say anything about bringing you out tonight? No. With that said, Bei Yunj asked, what's wrong? Master Du will be attending a banquet today, and he requested to bring a female companion. If he didn't tell you, you have to keep a close eye on him. Yu Manran was like an old mother, constantly reminding Bei Yunj. Bei Yunj asked, where did you get the news from? As for my brother, there are already a lot of people asking around if Master Du brought a female companion. I think many people want to stuff their daughters and sisters in. Yu Manran was used to it, but he still hoped that Bei Yunj would show her power as the main wife. However, after hearing this, the other party was silent for a while. Yes, is there anything else? Yu Manran was speechless. After going to the Computing Institute, a few official members of the institute stared at her without blinking. Bei Yunj was silent for a moment. What's the matter? Si Qingyan couldn't help but be curious. He touched Bei Yunji's head again. This hair volume is real too. Is her brain real too? Was there really someone who could use their brain to this extent? In the past, he had seen such geniuses in movies, but now, he had seen it with his own eyes. Chapter 544. Bei Yunji slapped Si Qingyan's hand away. Her beautiful face was expressionless. Si Qingyan was speechless. Oh no, he had gone too far. Fortunately. Then, Zhong Xinglin walked in and sighed. I went to a meeting in Lin City. When everyone heard this, their gazes landed on Zhong Xinglin. One had to know that when all the directors were gathered for a meeting, there would be an especially important task. Did you say anything? Si Qingyan was the first to ask curiously. I only said a little during the meeting. Zhong Xinglin's gaze landed on Bei Yunji. I found it. Bei Yunji was speechless. Everyone was speechless. That's right. To anyone now, Bei Yunji was in high demand. Even the higher-ups were starting to take it seriously. And they said that the country will do its best to support the team you're in from now on. Zhong Xinglin also had mixed feelings. However, for the higher-ups to make such an arrangement, it could be seen how much they valued a talent like Bei Yunji. Now that Country R's Institute of Computational Technology was willing to take the initiative to return it intact, the higher-ups were probably overjoyed. Master Pei is really good. He single-handedly sent Marcus to the top and even got the country to back him up. Si Qingyan sighed. Oh right, Gu, your contract with Country R's Computing Institute. Zhong Xinglin asked. It's already over. After Bei Yunji finished speaking, the slightly plump director beside her looked at Bei Yunji with shining eyes. Zhong Xinglin also laughed. Then next, Bei Yunji smiled. Next, I want to work with your institute. At this moment, Zhong Xinglin felt like a daughter-in-law who had finally become a mother-in-law. He instantly stood up excitedly. Okay. On my side, I'll revise the contract again. I guarantee that you'll benefit the most. After Zhong Xinglin finished speaking, the director beside him looked at Zhong Xinglin in disbelief. He had started drafting the contract 2 months ago. Bei Yunji's treatment was unprecedented. He still wanted to fix Bei Yunji's car. I'll listen to you. Bei Yunji did not have any objections to this. However, while I'm on the job, I hope that I can choose my team freely, whether it's internal or external. No problem. Zhong Xinglin answered with a smile. Si Qingyan clicked his tongue. Even if you want the stars, our old Zhong will never pluck the moon for you. Rest assured. Zhong Xinglin, who had finally made it through, called Marcus, who had been very busy recently. Marcus, Gu, has agreed to join us. Zhong Xinglin sighed. He felt that the last thing he needed in this world was face. The next moment, Marcus hung up the phone. It was not until Zhong Xinglin called again and again that Marcus completely exploded. Are you done yet? Come on, didn't you already know that Gu wouldn't stay with you for long? Zhong Xinglin snorted. Knowing and being sad are two different things. I've been treating Gu like my own daughter for the past 3 months. Hearing Marcus's resentful tone, Zhong Xinglin was amused. Alright, Gu made a request today. She wants to work with someone outside the institute. She probably still misses you guys. Really? Marcus probed. Why would I lie to you? Zhong Xinglin was amused, especially when he heard the sniffling sound from the other end. Don't tell me you're crying. You're the one who's crying, old thing. When they reached home, Bei Yunji started to recall Yu Manrin's words. Chapter 545. A moment later. Bei Yunji felt that her thoughts were too petty. It was not strange to bring a female companion to a business dinner. With this thought in mind, Bei Yunji went upstairs. However, 10 minutes later, Bei Yunji kept recalling the scene of her interaction with Huashidu. Only then did she feel that something was wrong. Was this man usually like this? Soon. When Bei-yunj thought about how Hwashidu would interact with others like this, she felt an inexplicable sense of displeasure. 1 hour later, powerful literature Bei-yunj called Hwashidu. The man's low and magnetic voice drifted into her ears through the electric current. What's wrong, Yun-yun? When are you coming back? Bei-yunj asked. These words made Hwashidu's thin lips curl up. He lowered his noble eyes, and the light in his eyes was inexplicably seductive. His tone was light and ostentatious. Did you miss me? Bei-yunj, didn't Auntie Meow tell you? I'm at the banquet. I might be back very late. Hwashidu glanced at his watch. This banquet was Old Master Hwa's friend's banquet. Therefore, Hwashidu could not refuse. Bei-yunj, sure, this D*MN man really went to find a female companion. Seeing that Bei-yunj did not say anything, Hwashidu asked, can't sleep, Yun-yun? The two socialites who had wanted to approach and talk to him froze when they heard the man's low and magnetic voice. Was Master Du coaxing a girl to sleep? No, it's still early. I'll sleep in a while. Bei-yunj thought about it. At Hwashidu's age, it was quite normal for him to have a girlfriend. With this thought in mind, Bei-yunj felt frustrated for no reason. After hanging up the phone, she walked to the fridge and took a bottle of ice water upstairs. However, after about 10 minutes, someone called her. It was Tsing-su. What's wrong? Bei-yunj was still working on a new program, so her tone was indifferent. Miss Pei, I'm downstairs. Master Du asked me to bring you to the banquet. Bei-yunj's fingers paused. Doesn't he already have a date? Tsing-su was stunned and didn't know how to reply. He could only smile and say, you'll know when you get there. Bei-yunj, did he still want her to play with his female companion? Although she was not too happy, Bei-yunj still gave her face and prepared to see Hwashidu's female companion. After that, when Bei-yunj arrived at the banquet, Bei-yunj saw a familiar figure. She also saw the tall woman standing beside him. Hwashidu didn't seem to mind at all. He chatted with the woman close to him. Bei-yunj could even see the smile on his lips. Bei-yunj pursed her lips and quickly walked forward. However, about 2 meters away, Bei-yunj suddenly did not want to know who the woman beside Hwashidu was. Suddenly, the man's deep, magnetic, and pleasant voice sounded. Yun-yun. Bei-yunj looked at Hwashidu and turned around. When she met the tall woman's eyes, she froze. F***ck, Hwashidu, are you human? I lost a round, and you still brought your girl here to laugh at me? Yu Hanran's expression was exceptionally bad. She used her fan to cover his face and glared at him with her beautiful eyes, which had eyeshadow on. Bei-yunj, what was wrong with the domineering CEO nowadays? Weren't you the one who pretended to be obedient in front of old Master Chi and insisted that I bring a female companion? The man beside her said calmly. Chapter 546. His little girl didn't like this kind of place either. He didn't want Bei-yunj to come out with him for 3 to 4 hours on the day before school started. However, this child didn't seem too happy today. It seemed like it was because of his female companion. The corners of Hwashidu's lips curled up unconsciously as he stared straight at Bei-yunj. Bei-yunj was speechless. Looking at the man's teasing gaze, she felt inexplicably guilty. Yunj, I have to explain. Your brother forced me. I lost a bet with your brother today. He insisted that I dress up as a woman and attend the banquet with him. Yu Hanran felt that his image as a domineering CEO had already collapsed. Bei-yunj was speechless. However, speaking of which, Yu Hanran did look quite good in women's clothing. His eyes were a little similar to Yu Manran's. Awesome literature website. Because of his deep facial features, there was a hint of exotic charm to him. At this moment, Yu Manran even called. How is it? Are you at the banquet? Master Du didn't find a female companion, did he? Bei Yunj walked to the side and chatted with Yu Manran. I did. Yu Manran was a little worried that Bei Yunj would be heartbroken. Don't be too sad. Before she could comfort her, she heard Bei Yunj say, it's your brother. Yu Manran was speechless. Your brother looks pretty good in women's clothing. Bei Yunj couldn't help but glance at Yu Hanran again. Yu Manran's scalp suddenly turned numb. I already knew that he might be a pervert, but I didn't expect him to be so perverted. Bei Yunj glanced at Yu Hanran thoughtfully. After chatting with Yu Manran for 10 minutes, she walked in front of Huashidu, but did not see Yu Hanran. Where is he? He went back. Huashidu curled his lips and slowly reached out. His warm fingers pinched her soft and fair earlobe intimately. This action was so ambiguous that it made her blush. I thought Yunyun was unhappy today. As soon as he finished speaking, Bei Yunj felt the man's fingertips gently graze the soft flesh behind her earlobe. His entire body almost went limp. Bei Yunj, who had already felt that she was acting strangely today, felt even more baffled now. She avoided Huashidu's approach. A little. This answer indeed surprised Huashidu. He had seen this little girl's face when she said one thing and meant another. She was especially lovable. However, at this moment, when he heard the young lady's straightforward admission, her bright and beautiful face filled with unhappiness, he felt an inexplicable itch in his heart. Yunyun. Bei Yunj had just raised her eyes when the man suddenly bent down. The distance between them was so close that they could feel each other's breaths. The man held her hand and leaned close to her ear. His magnetic and sexy voice was low and hoarse as he laughed. Are you here to take your brother's life? It was the first time. Bei Yunj couldn't help blushing. This man was the one who really wanted her life. Bei Yunj, who had spent quite a long time cooling down, sat on the sofa and drank fruit juice. Her heart rate had almost calmed down. Just now, she felt that her head was about to smoke. Yunyun, it's not good to drink too much cold at night. The person who started it reminded her with concern. I'm fine now. Bei Yunj smiled at him. The man slowly curled his lips and said, I'm looking at you. Your face isn't so red anymore. Bei Yunj, no one was more insatiable than him. Chapter 547. Not far away, there were many gazes looking over. Most of them were women. Bei Yunj glanced at Huashidu and was not too surprised. This man was very good at attracting bees and butterflies outside. Shidu. Not far away, an old man suddenly walked over. He was wearing a Chinese tunic suit and looked quite energetic. Elder Qi. Huashidu stood up and walked to Elder Qi to chat. As someone who had followed Huashidu here, Bei Yunj naturally had to go up and greet him. It was more polite. Elder Qi looked at such an exquisite and beautiful girl and was a little hesitant. Hello, my name is Bei Yunj. Bei Yunj nodded. At this moment, the man curled his lips. This is my girl. Elder Qi, you don't mind, right? How can I mind what you're saying? Elder Qi still liked Bei Yunj quite a lot. Besides, he didn't quite understand what Huashidu meant when he said his girl. Come. Let's drink some wine. Elder Qi's face was rosy as he led Huashidu, Bei Yunj, and the others to a quiet place with fewer people. At this moment, before Huashidu could speak, Bei Yunj's lips suddenly curled up unconsciously. Brother, you still have to listen to the elders. How could Huashidu not tell that this little girl was up to no good? His sexy Adam's apple and the mole rolled as he let out a low and hoarse laugh. His well-defined hand casually pinched her cheek. His dark, unreadable eyes stared straight at her. Sure. Bei Yunj heard the man's magnetic voice. It was seductive and ostentatious. Yunyun, look after me later. Don't let others take advantage of me. Bei Yunj. Not long after. Bei Yunj really saw Huashidu drinking with Elder Qi and the others not far away. After about half an hour, Bei Yunj was afraid that Huashidu would do the same as last time, so she immediately went forward and pulled Huashidu back. Her bright eyes were filled with a bright smile, but there was no room for rejection. "Old Mr. Qi, can I borrow Brother Shidu for a while?" Elder Qi watched as the man in front of him curled his lips and let the young lady in front of him hold his hand. His expression was languid and at ease, and he could not help but laugh. This was the first time he saw Huashidu listening to someone so much. "Sure, if you're tired, you can go back with Shidu first." Elder Qi was also a generous person and did not mind this. "Thank you, Mr. Qi." Bei Yunj's lips curved. After Elder Qi left, she prepared to call Tsingsu. Then, the man suddenly held her hand. His warm and dry palm gently wrapped around the back of her hand. At this moment, Bei Yunj turned to look at him. "What are you doing?" The man's eyes were deep, and she couldn't tell if he was drunk or not. His fingertips carelessly brushed across Bei Yunj's palm. His peach blossom eyes, which were usually cold and aloof, were extremely alluring at this moment. His lips curved into a natural smile, and he did not let go of his hand. "Big brother wants to hold hands." Bei Yunj, sure, he was very straightforward about what he wanted. It was exactly the same as the last time he was drunk. Bei Yunj felt that she could not stay any longer. She did not care that Huashidu wanted to hold hands with her in public and simply pulled him outside. Along the way, she was on the phone with Tsingsu, and she was starting to regret encouraging this man to drink. "Assistant Tseng, have you arrived?" Chapter 548. "We're here. You and Master Du can just come out." Bei Yunj replied, "All right, sorry to trouble you." "You're welcome." Assistant Tseng was a little puzzled. Wasn't Master Du drunk today? In the past, when Master Du was drunk, he didn't seem to like to talk to people. He didn't know if Miss Pei brought him over. At this moment, Bei Yunj saw that the man was holding hands and was quite obedient. She heaved a sigh of relief for no reason. If this was in public like last time, she couldn't think of any better way than to kill him to silence him. However, the night breeze outside was gentle. Other than the occasional sound of a car horn, there was only silence. Bei Yunj also felt that the warmth on her hand inexplicably made her feel a little uncomfortable. Bei Yunj collected her thoughts. She just wanted to get him into the car as soon as possible. Fortunately, she met Assistant Tseng very quickly. Assistant Tseng was also stunned when he saw Bei Yunj and Huashidu holding hands. After Master Du finished drinking, didn't he hate it when others touched him? Soon after the two of them got into the car, Bei Yunj leaned against the car seat and closed her eyes. She started to not understand why she had come to this banquet today. After a while, Bei Yunj turned around and saw the man's side profile. His eyes were slightly red and his gaze was lazy and seductive. It seemed that the last time this man didn't remember anything after he woke up from his drunken stupor. Bei Yunj suddenly called out, "Brother." "Yes?" The man's eyes were extremely dark. Even the light was hidden. His magnetic voice rose and fell with his faint breath. "Do you mind if I do something I shouldn't do?" Bei Yunj asked with curved eyes. Hearing this, the man only turned his head. He leaned lazily and raised his eyebrows slightly. His eyes were dark and he looked light and ostentatious. It was so lust that made one's legs go weak. His gaze was clearly saying, "If you want it, come and get it." However, Bei Yunj didn't notice the aggressiveness in the man's eyes. She couldn't resist the temptation and wanted to reach out to the man's abdomen. Who would have thought? Suddenly, the man grabbed her wrist. Bei Yunj, that was good. He still had his self-awareness. However, Bei Yunj saw that Huashidu refused to let go. "Brother?" She looked up and accidentally met the man's dark eyes. She felt as if she had been scalded and immediately turned her face away. But shortly after, however, she heard the man's low and hoarse laughter. His voice was long and lazy, sounding a little cynical. "Kid, have you taken a liking to me?" The atmosphere in the car was quiet and private. There was a partition in front of them, and there were only the two of them around. Bei Yunj felt that this D*MN man had really gone overboard. She didn't really want to talk to drunkards. But a few minutes later, Bei Yunj's reasonable voice rang out. "Brother, you haven't given me my birthday present yet." The man looked at her for a while. His low and lazy voice was irresistibly sexy. "Little liar." Bei Yunj had a vague feeling that the previous matter was about to be exposed by a drunkard. She turned her face away and didn't speak. The man seemed to have noticed that Bei Yunj was ignoring him. He laughed softly again and his breath was a little close. It was as if he was blatantly seducing her. "Do you want a present so much?" Bei Yunj's surroundings were invaded by the pleasant and cold smell of alcohol on his body. It made people's hearts flutter. Chapter 549. The moment she looked up, she saw that the man's eyes were half dark and half dark. He was extremely lustful. However, the man's slender and well-defined hand casually held her fingertips. The corners of his lips curled up imperceptibly. "Then I'll give it to you." Before Bei Yunj could react, her hand was placed on the man's firm waist. At this moment, Bei Yunj, who was not prepared, froze. She had to admit that she could see Huashidu working out in the morning every day. The firm muscles on his waist and abdomen were very different from his refined and elegant appearance when he was wearing clothes. Separated by a thin layer of clothing, Bei Yunj's heart raced. The man was half bent over her, and the distance between them was a little too close. She could hear his low and bewitching laughter, and it made her ears burn. "Is it enough, Yunyun?" "Bei Yunj, why did this man feel like he was not human no matter what he said? He was too lustful." Awesome Literature website. However, in the next moment, before Bei Yunj could react, the man's seductive low voice sprayed on her neck along with his warm breath, causing her heart to tremble. "Not enough?" Then, Huashidu's cold fingers held Bei Yunj's hand and moved it down. Bei Yunj felt that she had touched a metal belt buckle. Before she could react, she heard Huashidu chuckle softly. He exuded a lustful and light aura. His eyes were dark and seductive, and his tone was ambiguous and deadly, making her legs go weak. "Then this is your gift. Do you want to open it?" Bei Yunj quickly retracted her hand and almost exploded again. Her ears were unbelievably red. However, at this moment, the man looked at the young lady's angry expression and chuckled happily. Bei Yunj reacted, but Huashidu rubbed her head again. This D*MN man did it on purpose. The next day. As expected, Bei Yunj went downstairs and saw the man sitting on the sofa reading the newspaper. Bei Yunj, sure, this D*MN man had forgotten again. "Yunyun." Huashidu felt Bei Yunj's gaze, but the memories of yesterday were a little fragmented. "Why are you looking at me like that?" "I'm fine." Every time this man did something when he was drunk, it was hard to talk about it. If she did not know Huashidu's personality, she would have suspected that Huashidu had lied to her twice. After breakfast, Bei Yunj remembered what happened last night very clearly, so she simply went out without saying anything to Huashidu. Huashidu also noticed that this little girl's attitude towards him seemed to be the same as the last time he was drunk. Half a month passed just like that. Hengda's final exams had already ended. At this moment, Bei Yunj finally realized that Teacher Wen had a motive for sending her to the special class. This special class didn't have long holidays. Bei Yunj did not have much patience at first and continued to attend this special class. However, Song Yao brought different pastries over every day, so she came every day. When she was studying, Qin Yu called. I have a reality variety show that I can invite family members to participate in. Are you free?" When Qin Yu asked, his palms were covered in sweat. He had thought about it for 2 weeks before he mustered up the courage to ask. "No." Bei Yunj rejected him very straightforwardly. Is that so?" "All right then." Qin Yu's eyes darkened and the corners of his lips curled up. How have you been recently?" Chapter 550. Ever since Gu-er stayed with Huashidu, it was very difficult for him to see Gu-er. Even if he took the initiative to invite her, Gu had never agreed to it. Only the old master was useful to Gu-er. I'm fine. Is there anything else? I'm in class. Bei Yunji's tone was calm. It was neither distant nor close, just like when they first met. No, take good care of yourself. Okay. After hanging up, Song Yao, who was beside her, asked, who was it? Bei Yunji did not answer. He only glanced at her questions and pointed at one of her questions with a pen. Recalculate. Song Yao was speechless. She did not know why, but her deskmate had never attended a class before and knew that she was wrong just by looking at the question. Unfortunately, the teacher in class did not like Bei Yunji. He felt that Bei Yunji was here to play and relied on connections. At night, Bei Yunji entered another strange dream. It was a press conference. A woman was pulling a little girl and accusing Qin Yu of having a fetish for children and molesting girls. Qin Yu did not look well and his eyes were lifeless. However, she did not expect a situation to occur at the scene. A fan who had turned anti-fan splashed the sulfuric acid he brought forward indiscriminately. A girl who looked like her instinctively wanted to block it for Qin Yu. However, Qin Yu was even faster and shielded her behind him. The scene was filled with wails and howls, but most of them were watching coldly from the sidelines, looking at the injured Qin Yu mockingly. Qin Yu's back was almost covered in bones. His originally handsome and arrogant side profile was even more mangled. Bei Yunji saw that the girl Qin Yu was protecting was crying. Qin Yu leaned towards her ear and seemed to have said something. In the end, he forced himself to watch the girl leave before he fainted. She woke up. Bei Yunji felt that the corners of her eyes were a little wet and she touched them. They were tears. She did not know if she was crying or if the original protagonist was crying. The dream last night was very real. She could even feel the original protagonist's emotions. A voice filled her mind and she kept asking. Please, someone help me. Bei Yunji suddenly remembered that when she had just woken up from the mental hospital, she had also heard this voice. This was most likely because the original owner's obsession was too deep, so she was able to be reborn into her body. Next time, let me have a good sleep. Bei Yunji seemed to be talking to himself, but also seemed to be talking to someone. With a light tap of her fingers, she sent Qin Yu a message. Gu-er, when is the variety show? I'm not recording at night. Anything else is fine. After sending it, Bei Yunji glanced at Qin Yu's reply and called Song Yao. Gu-er, what is it? Bei Yunji slowly unbuttoned her pajamas with one hand, revealing her fair skin. I have something to do in 2 days. Can you help me apply for leave from Professor Wei? Sure, but Professor Wei is probably going to cause trouble for you. Anything is fine. Thanks. Bei Yunji smirked lazily. In the dream, the little girl Qin Yu saw was hired by this production team for Qin Yu. Since this was the person the original owner wanted to protect, she could not let this happen again. After she was done with the trivial matters. 2 days later, Bei Yunji was picked up by Qin Yu. At the airport. Before Bei Yunji got out of the car, she could feel the enthusiasm of Qin Yu's fans. Bei Yunji put on her mask and lowered her cap. After Qin Yu walked down, the fans saw him turn around and come out with a good-looking girl. Chapter 551. The fans present could not help but scream excitedly. Who is this girl? F***CK, it's his sister. When the other fans heard this, they immediately knew Bei Yunji's identity and became even more excited. Pei, sister-in-law. Sister-in-law is here. Bei Yunji had never seen such a scene and looked over instinctively. Then, she realized that something was wrong. Bei Yunji was speechless. In the eyes of the fans, this scene was simply adorable. Suddenly, Qin Yu pulled her over and pulled down his mask slightly. His low voice sounded casually. Don't bully me. Hubby, why did you bring your sister here? The girl who picked him up asked very naturally. Chin Yu glanced at her lazily and chuckled. Miss, I brought my sister here to record a show. Seeing that Chin Yu was still not falling for it like before, the other fans were not discouraged. Instead, they continued to set the trap. On the way, Bei Yunj did not say a word. After registering, she entered the cabin. On this day, the headlines were all over the charts. Hashtag Chin Yu's sister hashtag Chin Yu's family looks hashtag Chin Yu and they are traveling hashtag they are traveling was a live streaming variety show for celebrities and their younger siblings. It could be said that it was a mess at the moment, so the director had asked for a favor to invite Chin Yu. Because when Chin Yu left home to develop, the director of They Are Traveling had helped Chin Yu a lot, so Chin Yu could not refuse. When they arrived at the venue booked by the production team, Bei Yunj and Chin Yu did not expect to bump into Yun Nua and Chin Yojiao here. Come. Let's take a short video before the recording. With that said, the director pushed Chin Yu and Bei Yunj in first. Bei Yunj frowned unconsciously, but did not say anything. She only took off her mask and hat. At this moment, the production team, who saw Bei Yunj's face through the camera, froze. Brother Yu's younger sister was too beautiful. She wasn't even considering debuting. The staff member immediately picked up Bei Yunj's personal information. After memorizing some important information, he smiled and asked, Miss Pei, are you interested in this show? Bei Yunj allowed the female staff to adjust the earpiece. She slowly looked up and asked, You want me to tell the truth? The production team, beside her, Chin Yu was speechless. His gu did not seem to be suitable for variety shows. Meanwhile, everyone in the program team was thinking that another F***king troublemaker had appeared. Then, let's say something to each other. The director tried to liven up the atmosphere. Hearing this, Chin Yu was the first to take the initiative to look at Bei Yunj. He had the face of a teenage killer, arrogant and handsome. He looked at Bei Yunj and smiled. I'll take good care of you during this trip. Although there weren't any pleasant words, they were very true. The director nodded and pointed the camera at Bei Yunj. Unexpectedly, Bei Yunj was silent for a moment. Okay. As soon as he finished speaking, the smiles on the production team's faces disappeared. Okay. They couldn't take it anymore. However, hearing this, Chin Yu chuckled unconsciously. His dark eyes seemed to be glowing as he stared at Bei Yunj without blinking. He didn't care about anything else. It was already very good that he could be alone with Gu this time. However, later on, the director saw that the other groups were doing quite well and heaved a sigh of relief. He edited the film and posted it online for voting and publicity. However, what he did not expect was, Chin Yu and his sister's team was the first in history. Chapter 552. Did the audience already look at faces to this extent? The funny and emotional people next door couldn't compare to this pair of plastic siblings. However, the production team was also knowledgeable. Go high and go low, the assistant director said. It was probably because the interaction between Bei Yunj and the sister-in-law fans at the airport was too loving. Therefore, the viewership ratings of this program depended on them at the beginning. However, as for the later part, everyone was more dependent on character. Yun Nua's expression was dark and her tone was a little bad. You actually brought her to participate in a variety show. Isn't he afraid of embarrassing himself? Chin Yojiao's expression did not look too good either. The purpose of her and Yun Nua coming here this time was actually to give her a chance to interact with Chin Yu. Really? Then Chin Yojiao looked at her and smiled. There are 2 spots in the International Musicians Association. One is me and the other is an old gentleman. Hearing this, Yun Nua laughed even more. However, she never thought that Chin Yu would bring Bei Yunj. She has always liked to follow me no matter what I do. Chin Yojiao's tone was mocking. I saw her go during the International Musicians Association selection. Yun Noa laughed coldly. Yo Jiao, she got herself into trouble this time. What are you afraid of? She felt that this was a chance to completely ruin Bei Yunji's reputation. Back then, Bei Yunji had also let Jiao Jiao be defamed like this. I knew it. Even if she imitates you, she can't be much better than you. Qin Yo Jiao's eyes darkened. But this time, her target should be second brother. Second brother has only met her once before. I'm really curious why second brother would treat her like that. The next day. After the official start, Bei Yunji met the other 4 teams. Hearing this, the corners of Qin Yo Jiao's lips gradually curled up. Yes. Wasn't it easy for Bei Yunji to be disliked? Oh my god, the guests of this season are super good looking. Goddess Yun Noa and Qin Yo Jiao are both talented goddesses. Heart, brother Yu, I'm here to see my sister. In the 5th team, there were 2 pairs of siblings, a pair of brothers, a pair of siblings, and a pair of sisters. However, only Yun Noa's group was not related by blood. Seeing that the 5 groups of people were exceptionally good-looking, the viewers in the live broadcast room had already started to flood the screen. Most of the comments in the live stream were Qin Yu's fans or people who knew about this program because of Qin Yu. As for the other artistes, other than Promise Yun, who was an A-list artiste and was quite popular, they were all B-list and below. Oh my god, brother Yu's sister is too beautiful. Sister, elope with sister-in-law. Woo, why are you even more handsome than your brother? Hua Dan and his younger brother are so pretty, the film crew, the other guests. If this program was going to be a sister con competition, then they would definitely lose. It had just started, and before the production team could speak, everyone saw Qin Yu covering the sun with his hand for Bei Yunji. Seeing that it didn't work, he walked to the side, took off his manager's hat, and put it on Bei Yunji's head. The manager. On the other hand, the fans on the bullet screen were laughing. Director, let's change to a cooler place next time. My sister's skin is fair. Qin Yu said with a frown. There was no point in participating in this variety show. Best actor Qin dotes on his sister. I announce that the first place belongs to Qin Yu. The broadcast hasn't even started and brother Yu has already shown off how he dotes on his sister. Chapter 553. After this, the sharp-eyed netizens saw another pair of siblings. The younger sister had secretly kicked the older brother. The older brother who was kicked was speechless. Did you see that? The other pair of siblings is too funny. The younger sister kicked the older brother because of best actor Qin's doting. It's Tang Yimeng. Let me introduce her to everyone. She's a brother from a boy band. The atmosphere at the beginning of the program was quite good. However, after a while, a person in a bear coat led a good-looking child onto the stage. Everyone was immediately melted by her cuteness. The production team said, because we were originally worried that the artiste we signed wouldn't be able to take care of her family at the last minute, we signed a child. During this period of time, who would be willing to take care of a child? It was the girl who had been brought out in her dream to testify that Qin Yuga had molested her. At this moment, Bei Yunji did not notice that Qin Yu's eyes darkened and he clenched his fist slightly. The other 4 teams raised their hands very respectfully. With that said, most of the fans in the comments were commenting on Qin Yu. However, Bei Yunji looked up and felt that this little girl was a little familiar. Sister Lila seems to like brother Yu. Sister Lila is so cute. However, the production team spoke again. Lila, you can walk to whichever team you like. With that said, Lila's eyes wandered around everyone before she stared straight at Qin Yu. Second brother, don't bask in the sun. After all, it's already troublesome enough to take care of me alone. There was a full half a minute of silence. She's declaring her sovereignty. Before everyone could form a couple, they suddenly saw Bei Yunji take off her hat and tiptoe to put it on Qin Yu's head. Qin Yu was a little stunned by Bei Yunji's sudden action. Bei Yunji's red lips curled up and she held Qin Yu's hand again, leaning her head gently on his shoulder. I'm a little speechless. Will she be like this when her brother finds a wife in the future? I'm really afraid of this kind of sister. She's indeed a petty person. No wonder she insisted on chasing Qin Youjiao away. I'm impressed. Ah, I want a brother like Qin Yu too. I definitely won't let anyone touch my brother either. Sob. Is little sister the tsundere type? So cute. Ah. Are you going to argue with a kid? That's his younger sister. Why did you kick me? Tang Yimeng lowered her voice and asked. Sister Tang whined, I want to lean on big brother's shoulder too. Tang Yimeng remained silent for a moment before limping to the side. Her rejection was obvious. The people in the bullet screen did not affect the people in the show at all. At this moment, Tang Yimeng was almost crippled by her younger sister's kick. At this very moment, seeing Bei Yunji's actions just now, jealousy surged in Qin Youjiao's heart. Her brothers used to belong to her. Sister Tang was speechless. Ha ha ha, this pair of siblings is so realistic. It's my and my brother's daily life. Tang Yimeng dotes on her younger sister too. Actually, she was the little girl's mother and her manager. However, Bei Yunji could not be arrogant for long. Just the fact that she had argued with a child just now was enough to make some people on the internet hate her for life. No one noticed that at this moment, Bei Yunji's eyes swept past the others, but in the end, they only landed on one person. Soon, a cold smile flashed past Qin Youjiao's lips. There was no smile in her eyes. At this moment, anger had just risen in Lila's mother's heart. She was a little disgusted with this troublesome sister of Qin Yu. Chapter 554. However, she did not expect to meet Bei Yunji's eyes. She could not help but feel a chill run down her spine. On the way here, she kept reminding Lila to form a team with Qin Yu. Only by being a couple with Qin Yu would there be value in participating in this show. Why don't Lila come to my place? Lila glanced at her mother and saw her nod with a dark expression. She then glanced at Qin Yu and joined Qin Youjiao's team in the end. Seeing this, the internet was filled with praises. My impression of Qin Youjiao has changed. At least she's better than a certain someone. Qin Youjiao is beautiful and kind, heart, comparing her character, the only good thing for a real daughter is her status. Mai Jiao is the only female member of the International Musicians Association in Country A. Are you done? How can you be so evil? Just as everyone was arguing, a cloud-piercing arrow suddenly appeared. After that, hundreds of cloud-piercing arrows were shot out in groups of 50 and 50. They looked at the ID again. Yu Manran v. Everyone in front of the screen was speechless. Yu Manran himself. Within moments, they saw Yu Manran speak. Master Pei, I love you. Master Pei, fly bravely. Man will always be with you. Heart, Yu Manran's fans, who were silently watching the show, suddenly saw their idol lose her mind. Do you know that you have a noble and cold persona? Master Pei is Bei Yunji. I remember now. Yu Manran even spoke to Qin Yu's sister before. These two know each other. Ah, so my man likes brother Yu's sister. Ha, she's just seducing a rich family. Yu's fans should feel less superior. Oh, e-book. The director on the set was handed his phone by another staff member to take a look. Yu Manran's true body actually came to give him a few hundred gifts. This cloud-piercing arrow cost 10,000 yuan each. The director never thought that their first fortune would be brought by Bei Yunji. After being assigned a task, Master Pei, who was still sitting in the sightseeing car, was eating melons. The cameraman couldn't help but ask, Film Emperor Qin, isn't it time for you guys to take action? The mission this time was to make everyone rely on themselves to earn money for the trip. But the minimum amount was 100 yuan. In the end, the siblings had no idea how much a watermelon was worth. 100 yuan for a watermelon. Although the photographer wanted to remind the two of them who were born in a wealthy family, he thought that they should be exposed to the dangers of the world during this trip. The bullet screen was also filled with laughter. Ha 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 ha, brother and sister, do you exchange your brains for your looks? 100 yuan for a watermelon. This watermelon must be hiding gold. It's okay. At least I bought some happiness. Look at how happy the siblings are. Everyone agreed with this point of view. In the other live stream rooms, they were already working seriously. The brother and sister took the 100 yuan watermelon and went for a spin at the beach. Afternoon. Bei Yunj and her husband used the guaranteed money to eat a watermelon. As for Qin Youjiao, she had already earned 500 yuan playing the piano in a high-end restaurant. The netizens were very envious of such a talented girl. Some people had even compared Qin Youjiao to Bei Yunj. They said that Bei Yunj was brought up by director Lin, but in the end, she was far worse than Qin Youjiao. This was too embarrassing for director Lin. A portion of Qin Yu's fans fell silent. Although Qin Yu didn't have much of a sense for variety shows in the past, bringing his sister along this time was too embarrassing. Chapter 555. I've discussed it with the other side. I can lead the team to sing. I'll take 40% of the commission. Qin Yu asked softly, do you want to watch from below? He was not sure if Bei Yunj could accept a noisy place. Go ahead. I'll try something else. With that said, Qin Yu nodded. With the production team around, he was not afraid that something would happen to Bei Yunj. However, seeing Qin Yu leave, the people on the bullet screen started to criticize him. I knew it. Brother, you must have planned it. There are 3 sisters in the team. Why is Bei Yunj so burdensome? This is really the first time I'm going to stop being a fan because of her family. Just wait and see. When the time comes, she will definitely sit there and enjoy the breeze. When Qin Yu comes back from singing, she will share the money with a clear conscience. The comments were already filled with Bei Yunj's haters. The production team was also hesitating if they should remind Bei Yunj. At this moment, the cameraman asked softly. Internet cafe. If she spoke like this, the entire internet would criticize her sooner or later. Miss, where are you going? Maps of the Gods would randomly PK 3 professional players. There would be rewards for winning 2 rounds. However, because the opponent was a professional player, no one dared to play this side quest. The moment Bei Yunj finished speaking, everyone remembered. Because this show was sponsored by Maps of the Gods, there was a side quest. There was a certain difference between ordinary people and professional players, unless the other party went easy on them. However, it was too obvious to go easy on them in such a competition. What kind of joke was this? If they lost, they would be embarrassed in front of the public. I just scanned the players who can be paired with her at the speed of light. There's no one in Qin Lang's team. Who is she counting on to go easy on them? I really can't stand it anymore. She's really pretentious and brainless. No one wanted to be labeled as cheating in order to win a variety show. F*CK, can Bei Yunj have some self-awareness? The cameraman was stunned as well. Internet cafe. I suddenly find Qin Youjiao much more pleasing to the eye, at this moment. The Azura card allowed the other guests to go offline early. The exchange card could be used with any guest to forcefully exchange items. It could only be used later. The rewards for the side quest were public. There were only Azura cards and exchange cards. At the front desk of the internet cafe. Miss, how much is an hour? So what was Bei Yunj up to? Soon. She thought for a moment. Is 40 minutes okay? Sure. The shop assistant smiled. $10. At this time, Bei Yunj looked at the 5 yuan in her hand and then looked up at the shop assistant. Bei Yunj smiled. After the staff turned on the computer, she logged in according to the number given by the film crew. When the staff saw the cameraman behind Bei Yunj, she knew that they were here to record a show, so she didn't mind. Thank you. I can't watch this anymore. I'd better go and see my brother Yu. She must be the first person to drive her brother's fans away, right? It had to be said that this equipment was indeed not bad. But no matter what, his opponent was a pro player. Next, Bae Yunj was also matched with an opponent. If you don't like it, why don't you just leave? Did you die suddenly? Do you need everyone to send you off? Perhaps because this sentence was too harsh, the comments went silent for a few minutes. Bae Yunj? Hearing this voice, Bae Yunj felt like she had heard it somewhere before. I thought that you would play a friendly match with Qin Lang. What a pity. Xiao Zhi's eyes were dark as he chuckled. But it's okay. We'll have the chance to meet this time. Oh right, Miss Pei, don't blame me. I can't go easy on you in this competition. Chapter 556. As soon as she said this, everyone felt as if they had met their enemy. Some people in the esports industry were very straightforward when they started to fight. However, at this moment, Bae Yunj chuckled and lazily adjusted her microphone. She laughed and said in an unrestrained manner, "Let's have a competition. Don't treat me like your father." She was being sarcastic. Xiao Zhi pretended not to go easy on her and mocked her for being weak. Bae Yunj mocked Xiao Zhi for being too respectful and treating her like his father. The comments were all shocked by Bae Yunj's counterattack. Xiao Zhi's face was also green and red. His eyes were completely gloomy. Needless to say, with Bae Yunj's personality, if she was a capable person, she would probably be quite likable. Although she had won verbally, she would lose miserably later on. What IQ? Offending Xiao Zhi at this time. She was a walking devil. But it was a pity that she was a young miss who didn't know anything at all. Fine, then I'll take a good look at your skills. This is the first time I've seen someone who isn't afraid of death. You can be arrogant. Sister, you have to have some skills too. At the same time, Qin Lang, who was watching the competition, had a dark expression on his face. This Xiao Zhi. Xiao Zhi sneered and cut to the official competition. Bae Yunj had already entered the competition venue. However, just when everyone thought that the outcome was predictable, the competition ended in less than 10 minutes. He would beat him up the next time he saw him. He even dared to go against Gu Er. This scene stunned the people who were still criticizing Bae Yunj. Damn. And on the screen, there was a dazzling scene. Bae Yunj won. They were still waiting for Xiao Zhi to teach Bae Yunj a lesson. After they regained their senses, the comments exploded. Even the film crew noticed that Bae Yunj's data was abnormal. What the hell? Wasn't Xiao Zhi the second best professional player in the country? He didn't go easy on her. F***CK. I don't know if Bae Yunj is going easy or not, but her hand speed is way too fast. Her hand speed is definitely one of the best in the country. What the F***CK? Killing Xiao Zhi in 6 or 7 minutes. What the F***CK is this? When Qin Lang and Xiao Zhi fought, I remember that it was 20 minutes, right? You save more time than I thought. Bae Yunj smiled lazily, not forgetting to provoke Xiao Zhi. Xiao Zhi went easy on Qin Lang's sister. You think you're dreaming? What did I miss? She just went to the toilet. Why are you all spamming Bae Yunj? He had thought that Bae Yunj was not good at gaming and that was why Qin Lang did not bring her along. But in the end? You. Xiao Zhi's face was livid. Why didn't you participate in the friendly competition? That's not necessary. Bae Yunj said lightly. This was his first time losing to an outsider. This person was Qin Lang's sister. Don't be busy. I don't have much time. Bae Yunj furrowed his eyebrows unconsciously and glanced at the program design. On the other hand, Qin Lang, who had been watching Bae Yunj's live stream, had his eyes dim and his heart felt like it was being grabbed ruthlessly by a hand. Gu had forgiven Qin Yu, but not him. Only when the other party took the initiative to go offline could the next person come. Xiao Zhi's face was livid. Feeling humiliated, he immediately went offline. Only the people in the comments seem to have understood something. Ha 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 ha, there's not much time. You only have 40 minutes. Chapter 557. Don't ask. If you ask, it's the temptation of a watermelon. Damn, ha ha ha. I suddenly understand how cute this sister is. She's arrogant and cute. What kind of fat four is she? What's there to be cute about? What can the Azura cards and exchange cards do? At this moment, the director also asked the person who had been monitoring Bei Yunji's live broadcast. What's the matter? What happened? Bei Yunji defeated Xiaoji. That person took a long time to react. He felt his scalp go numb. That Xiaoji who is in second place. The director froze. Yes, that person glanced at the screen again and swallowed his saliva. Now she has won against the fifth place. She only has 5 yuan. Where did she go to open the secondary line? The staff looked at the time. It's just right now. She took 13 minutes. The director was speechless. The director was about to crack. Who was this person? She had won against the top professional players at the start of the game. 5 yuan, 40 minutes. Bei Yunji was still sending away one player after another in the internet cafe. She was cold and very formulaic. So much so that the remaining 20 professional players were very afraid that they would be drawn. At this speed, was Bei Yunji going to F*King destroy the secondary line? At this moment, seeing that Bei Yunji had used 40 minutes to draw all the cards, the director team fell into deep thought. Was their secondary line too simple? It was not that they were afraid. They had already gotten the first kill of Xiaoji at the very beginning. Weren't they just going to have fun with the rest? An untimely question arose in their hearts. Qin Lang's sister was so good at fighting, but she did not join the gaming team. Where did Qin Lang get the courage to join? But before that, no one was like Bei Yunji. Gradually. Next, someone woke everyone up. Why is Bei Yunji playing the secondary line? At this moment, Qin Lang also began to have the same thoughts. However, they were also very curious about what Bei Yunji was trying to do. Could it be that she wanted to use the Azura cards to exchange for other people's money? Actually, the secondary line was just for show. Anyway, no one played it. Therefore, the next moment, while everyone was puzzled, Bei Yunji strolled around and soon saw a guest participating in the competition. It just so happened that he could use both cards. Hua Sun looked at Bei Yunji with a trace of disgust. He had always been a fan of Qin Youjiao and indeed did not have a good impression of Bei Yunji. He seemed to be the younger brother of an artist with the surname Hua. You're Bei Yunji. How much money have you earned? There was obvious mockery in his tone. However, Hua Sun could not help but snicker. You don't know anything. How are you going to earn it? Hua Sun watched as the stack of cards Bei Yunji was playing with fell from her left hand to her right hand. She looked like a big boss. That's because my parents have always told me that the fastest way to earn money is written in the criminal law of T's is. She revealed the Azura card. She was robbing him so brazenly. Hua Sun regained his senses, but his first reaction was to ask. Her lazy voice was gentle. I'm sorry, friend. Do you want to pay or get eliminated? Hua Sun was speechless. Why does she have a stack of Azura cards? The production team, who had been paying attention to Bei Yunji and wanted to see what Bei Yunji wanted to do, was speechless. Sure. Ruthless people never took the ordinary path. Ha 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 ha, damn, is this Sister Qin Yu's style? Chapter 558. Where did this big boss come from? Pay or get eliminated? Ha ha ha, I'm laughing so hard. Master Pei is dead. Everyone, please type 6666 on the public screen. Thank you. The following comments were filled with 66666. In the headlines, Bei Yunji's continuous actions had rushed to the top of the list. More and more people were watching Bei Yunji's live stream. The moment they entered, they saw that Bei Yunji was visiting them in a friendly manner. Their attitude was quite good, so they let them off first. Those with bad attitudes were only left with 200 yuan. For example, Hua Sun just now. On the way, Bei Yunji sat by the lake, biting her candy lazily as she looked at the moon. The moment Qin Yu returned, he brought 2,000 yuan. When Bei Yunji saw him, she gave 3,000 yuan to Qin Yu. Qin Yu was speechless. Where did you get it from? Qin Yu asked. Bei Yunji said, someone gave it to me. The comments were filled with, what the F***ck did someone give it to you? Then, seeing that Qin Yu did not believe him, Bei Yunji said slowly, I snatched it with the Azura card. I was too embarrassed to do it to a girl. After spamming for so long, I thought this person had no bottom line. In the end, he was too embarrassed to snatch a girl's card. Ha 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 ha, Hua Sun, I hate it. Boo-hoo, Master Pei is a little flirtatious. Qin Yu was speechless. You got the Azura card? Didn't they say that it was very difficult? Do you want it? Bei Yunji took out the stack of cards. Qin Yu looked at the stack of Azura cards. This was probably all the production team had. Several questions flashed through Qin Yu's mind. In the end, he only pitied the production team and did not ask anything else. Many people were spamming the words, Bei Yunji is a bug in the human world. That night, Qin Yu's team stayed in a high-end hotel. After Qin Youjiao found out about this, she comforted Hua Sun, saying that Bei Yunji had such a personality. However, both she and Yun Nua did not look too good. In the bookstore, they did not expect Bei Yunji to have such a trick up her sleeve. The ones who couldn't sleep the most were the film crew. Late at night, the film crew was still having a meeting to discuss what to do about Bei Yunji. Someone suggested that if it really didn't work, they would use Plan B. However, everyone expressed that if they could grit their teeth and do it, they still had to do it. However, until the next day, Hua Sun happily walked out of his workplace with the money. As soon as he looked up, he saw Bei Yunji smiling at him with the Azura card in his hand. The two of them looked at each other speechlessly. Hua Sun, ha 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 Hua Sun, it's a familiar feeling again. Super arrogant Master Pei, charging online, Master Pei's smile is too expensive. Ha 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 ha. F***ck, what should I do? I'm going to make a random couple. Master Pei and Hua Sun are two F***king interesting, ha 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 ha. At the same time, this scene also made the film crew make up their minds. Execute Plan B. He couldn't allow this bug to act recklessly anymore. Others were trying their best to find a job, but she was charging them. No. This variety show must not have any bugs. In fact, at this moment. Dad, I'll call you Dad, alright? Don't fight with me. If you snatch it from me again, my brother will beat me up. Hua Sun hugged the money. He was on the verge of tears. Bei Yunji raised her eyebrows and stuffed another 2,000 yuan into Hua Sun's hands. She sneered. You're promising. Hua Sun looked at the 2,000 yuan that came out of nowhere and was stunned. Then, he looked up and asked in disbelief, where did you get the money? Don't tell me you snatched it from the production crew. No, I brought people online to exchange for it. Bei Yunji also had experience in bringing people online in school. Therefore, she was able to get online very quickly. Chapter 559. Including the money to repair the computers in the internet cafe, it should be around 5,000 yuan. F***ck, Master Pei is amazing. I thought it was her gaming addiction acting up. I didn't expect her to charge. No wonder I saw her carrying a pile of things to repair in the afternoon. She's actually earning money to repay Hua Sun. Isn't this sister too much? I want to marry her. I thought about it. Children are watching, so I can't lead them astray. Bei Yunji smirked and turned to leave. Hua Sun chased after her, his attitude obviously much more intimate than before. Master Pei, are you so good at gaming? Seeing Hua Sun being so obsequious, everyone in the live stream wanted to laugh unconsciously. Why didn't this silly child bear any grudges? He had forgotten that he had been robbed before. What everyone did not expect was that Bei Yunj was the main reason for the popularity of their traveling. A portion of people had also become Bei Yunj's fans. However, there were also people who started to speak sarcastically. You earned so much from repairing computers and playing games. Qin Youjiao didn't earn so much even after playing the piano for an entire day. There are really so many Bei Yunj posts. Did the Qin family buy this at a high price? She made the headlines while playing games and repairing computers. I'm laughing. Seriously, delete the posts that helped Qin Youjiao in the past and criticize Bei Yunj again, okay? I, the esports fans, am the first to disagree. Are you looking down on proper professions? The words of Qin Youjiao's fans spread to the esports scene and were torn apart in full swing. On the other hand, a technical blogger in the esports scene dug out Bei Yunj's hand speed on the computer. She was probably much faster than Qin Lang. This shocked the entire esports scene. Were the genes of the Qin family born with esports cells? In the afternoon, when everyone realized that their traveling was not live streaming, they all tagged the official account. Even terms like hashtag their traveling hashtag had rushed to the trending searches. 258. How am I supposed to watch handsome guys if you guys stop broadcasting? At their traveling, F*CK, you're stopping your broadcast at this time. I order you to arrange it immediately. At their traveling. I've just become a fan, what are you doing? Very soon. The official account replied. They're traveling, sorry for the long wait due to some uncontrollable reasons, we're changing the map. We hope that everyone will continue to support us. We'll continue the live stream tomorrow. But when they saw this message, the audience mocked him. Ha 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 ha, the uncontrollable reason is the human bug Bei Yunj. Can't you just change the name? The uncontrollable Master Pei, dog, it's so tragic. The production team has done so many designs, but in the end, they have to change the map. Ha ha ha. Over here. Bei Yunj, who was suddenly informed to change the map, raised her eyebrows unconsciously. Is something the matter? She asked. The film crew. Don't you have any idea? The next day. After a night of driving, everyone arrived at a place. It was a training ground. All the guests. Why was it different from what they had said? At this moment, the live broadcast had already begun. Ha ha ha, what the hell? Did the production team directly send him to the war zone? So ruthless. Master Pei is really pitiful. Qin Youjiao, who was beside her, glanced at Bei Yunj with dark eyes. She did not expect Bei Yunj's popularity to skyrocket in the past 2 days. There were actually so many people who liked her. Jiao Jiao, calm down, Yun Nuo reminded her. Hearing this. Chapter 560. As long as she found a chance, she would definitely make Bei Yunj step on her. Qin Youjiao's eyes were dark as she made up her mind. Changing the map at the last minute and changing the trip to a war zone, there were quite a lot of discussions outside. After all, this had nothing to do with traveling. Besides, the production team probably didn't consider that the little girl they had asked Qin Youjiao and Yun Nuo to take care of before. Hello, I'm your instructor. During this period of time, I'll be in charge of everyone. The burly instructor blew a long whistle and shouted in a hoarse voice, do you all understand? Understood. The instructor frowned. When you speak, you have to shout, reporting. Reporting, understood. Seeing that these people were easy to take care of, the instructor's eyebrows relaxed slightly. However, when he asked these people to start standing in a military posture, he felt that it was difficult. Other than Qin Yu and the flower shield, the military posture they were standing in was not right. After the instructor pointed at them one by one, he stopped in front of Qin Youjiao and nodded. Not bad. Clench your hands tightly. The corners of Qin Yojiao's lips curled up and she continued to stand seriously. Soon, the instructor also stopped in front of Bei Yunj. Her military posture was not bad, but for some reason, there was a laziness to it. She looked like those troublemakers in the war zone. Have you stood in a military posture before? The instructor could not help asking. Reporting, I have. Bei Yunj did not hide it, but this laziness did not diminish. Actually, when these people came in just now, the people in the war zone who passed by were secretly saying that a goddess had arrived on this variety show. They were talking about Bei Yunj. Tsinghua University. Not long after she arrived, the other instructors who had yet to receive training were already shouting for the team belle. However, they probably did not expect this team belle to be a little troublemaker. After an entire morning of training, the difficulty did not decrease at all, making the people in the comments start to feel sorry for their idol. However, the girl who was praised the most was Qin Yojiao. Her attitude was serious and she could learn most of it immediately. In the comments, Qin Yojiao's fans were already overjoyed. Especially after lunch, they finally had time to rest for a while. When everyone sat down to interact, Qin Yojiao's talent was praised by all the instructors. Hearing this, Qin Yojiao only nodded with a smile. She looked very cultured. And this morning, Bei Yunj seemed to be quite quiet. This caused the comments to go with the wind. I'm dying of laughter. Didn't you see that the instructor only paid attention to Bei Yunj from the beginning to the end? Most of the comments were from Qin Yojiao's fans. Reporting. This child has to go to the infirmary. Bei Yunj glanced at Lila, who was standing beside her. Seeing that it was useless to shade her from the sun with her hands, she took off her hat and fanned her. Who allowed you to take off your hat? Reporting, we'll punish her later. This child is going to get a heatstroke. Bei Yunj's pretty eyes revealed a trace of impatience. At this moment, the instructor also glanced at the production team. Chapter 561. Director, if anything happens to this child, do you have the ability to take someone's life? Bei Yunj asked slowly. Only Bei Yunj dared to say this. Qin Yu, who was beside him, looked over and said, Director, send her away. Seeing that Qin Yu had said so, the production team had no choice but to agree. At this moment, the manager's mother hurriedly said, she's fine. She'll be fine after resting for a while. This was such a good opportunity to be exposed. If Lila left now, wouldn't she miss out on a huge sum of money? Some people in the production team frowned unconsciously. Although many mothers of cute children would send their children into the entertainment industry to develop, this was the most ruthless mother they had ever seen. A few cameramen also gave this mother some shots. Seeing this, Lila's mother panicked. Her expression was terrible and she called reluctantly to get someone to fetch Lila. Mom, I'm so tired. At this moment, Lila, who was wearing a camouflage uniform, was already crying. In the comments, everyone's heart ached. This child was only 4 or 5 years old. At this time, children would only rely more on what their parents said. If no one taught them good and evil, right and wrong, they would lack a moral measure in their hearts. When it was about time for someone to take Lila away. At the same time, Bei Yunj was still standing in a military posture, looking straight ahead as she fanned the child with one hand. She could almost feel that Lila's mother was the culprit behind Qin Yu's incident in her previous life. Little Lila looked at her for a while before leaving with her mother. But as he walked, a piece of candy fell from his belt. Little Lila was stunned for a moment before she squatted down to pick it up. She roughly knew where this candy came from. Little Lila could not help but look up at her. Sister, do you hate me a lot? Bei Yunj smirked and reached out to tug at her belt gently. Can't you tell? She had heard from the company that the market for couples with age differences was not bad. At this thought, Lila's mother was annoyed. It's all Bei Yunj's fault. Really? Mom, is it because people only like good children? On the way, She listened to her mother go on. If it wasn't for Bei Yunj, I would have made you and Qin Yu a couple long ago. After little Lila finished speaking, she turned her head and continued to eat the candy. It was as if they had just talked about the weather. However, Lila's mother was inexplicably flustered. Little Lila bit the candy and asked while holding her hand. Before Lila's mother could answer her, Lila turned her head. Her expressionless gaze and words made her freeze. Then why do you want me to be a bad child? Bei Yunj's eyes were clear and she looked casual. Reporting, it's because I don't dare to take off your hat. The guests, when they heard Bei Yunj's comment, they felt as if they had been resurrected. Why did you take off your hat? The instructor looked at Bei Yunj and asked. Obviously, he was here to make trouble. Master Pei, is there really anything in this world that you don't dare to do? Bei Yunj, don't you know that you will be trained hard? You like to be in the limelight too much. Ha 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 ha, you're the first person to answer an irrelevant question. It was the instructor's first time meeting such a polite troublemaker. He was silent for a while. I heard that your show changed to my show at the last minute because of you. Chapter 562. Bei Yunj's eyebrows moved unconsciously and she looked at someone else for an answer. In the end, the two guests on the left and right lowered their heads, not daring to look at Bei Yunj. Bei Yunj was speechless. Hence, when the scene fell into silence, Bei Yunj did not speak. You were the one who said that you would be punished later, right? Yes. Bei Yunj looked up with her beautiful eyes, as if she was not afraid of being punished. That little girl was about to faint just now. It's not that I don't care. The instructor thought for a moment and said, you can either run 10 laps as punishment, or you can choose someone from the shooting range over there and have a better result than him within 10 shots. If you want to choose the second option, then if you succeed, this matter will be over. If you fail, you will be punished to run 20 laps. Some of Qin Lang's true fans had already successfully entered the role of sister-in-law. I'm too speechless. Pei Pei, a girl, was originally here to travel, but the production team sent her to the war zone. Hearing the instructor's words, everyone gasped. Wasn't this heartless enough? It's fine if you're sticking to the main character, but you're even sticking to his sister. I'm speechless. Pei Pei, listen to sister-in-law. Let's lower our heads first and run less if we can. Look at her thin arms and legs. She wants to run 20 laps. Is the team unwilling to be human? Did the person upstairs forget that it was because Bei Yunj lost the Azura card that they rushed to change the map in the middle of the night? Okay. Bei Yunj glanced at the shooting range not far away and licked her red lips. I guarantee that Bei Yunj will definitely go to the shooting range. I've already predicted the scene where the troublemaker will be defeated. This was also within the instructor's expectations. Reporting, if she makes a mistake, I'm willing to run double. In the next moment, everyone saw Bei Yunj walking towards the shooting range. Wasn't double the 20 laps equivalent to 40 laps? Qin Yu's fans' hearts ached visibly in the comments. At this moment, Qin Yu spoke. It was not easy to break the rules of the competition, so he could only use this method now. If she entered society with such a personality, she would suffer sooner or later. At this time. No. The instructor glanced at Qin Yu. This is also a form of training for her. They really wanted to go easy on the team flower. However, if he lost on purpose, the outcome would definitely be tragic. When Bei Yunj walked towards the shooting range, she was followed by another supervising instructor. From afar, he could hear the discussion at the shooting range. It seemed like the team Bell was going to pick someone to compete with in shooting. Bei Yunj glanced at the 20 people and his eyes fell on a familiar face. I'll take him. Bei Yunj, pick a person to compete with. Another instructor who seemed to be easier to talk to said with a smile. Pei. He opened his mouth, but the word was spoken so softly that it couldn't be heard. The person who was chosen was Ai Hui, whom he had met before. Bei Yunj pointed at one and went to the shooting range to get a gun. The person who had been chosen was completely stunned. He subconsciously looked at Bae Yunj. She had chosen the person who was the best at shooting. Among this group of people, only Ai Hui's ability was not bad and he was sent out to be Ji Yiqing's subordinate. Ji Yiqing's subordinate. Are you sure you want to pick him? The instructor frowned. He did not expect Bae Yunj to be so unlucky. Can't I? Bae Yunj glanced at him. Sure. The instructor thought for a moment. Since they were going to lose anyway, it didn't matter if it was worse. P.S. I'll post it after I finish writing. Babies, remember the monthly votes. Chapter 563. Just as Ah Hui was about to digest that Bae Yunj was here to film a variety show. He was about to pretend that he did not know Bae Yunj to avoid causing trouble for Bae Yunj when he heard her say, "You're not done yet? Are you so troublesome in the war zone?" Bae Yunj raised her eyebrows unconsciously. In her previous life, when she was kidnapped by terrorists when she was 12 years old, if she had met this person instead of that person, she would have been reborn more than 10 years earlier. Ah Hui was speechless. It was normal for him to hate this person. I won't let you do it. Ah Hui thought for a moment and chuckled. You're definitely going to run 20 rounds. I thought that Bae Yunj chose an old friend, but it turns out that she chose an enemy. I can't describe Bae Yunj's courage anymore. Can't she treat herself better? To be honest, I can feel this little brother's malice even through the screen. She deserves it. If it wasn't for her, how could she have changed the map? I'm speechless that she implicated the other guests. The fans above are probably haters. Are Qin Yojiao's true fans? She won with her own ability, so how can you blame her? Are you blaming her for being too strong? The person above is dying of laughter. Whether she's strong or not depends on whether she can win this round. Miss Pei, sorry for the offense. Ah Hui had long been unhappy with Ji Yiqing's attitude towards Bae Yunj. When he returned, Ji Yiqing suspended him for 2 months because of Bae Yunj. If he didn't take revenge today, when would he let this elder young miss know what the world was like? With this thought in mind, Ah Hui had already started to practice seriously. He followed the speed set by the district and shot 10 shots in a row. His results were not bad. 93. It was considered a normal performance. When the other team members saw this result, they could not help but whistle. Ran 1. The instructor also had a proud look on his face. This was the member with the best results in their team. Miss Pei, although I admire you in other aspects, I hope that this will be a growth in your life. Ah Hui thought for a moment. In front of the camera, he could not make things too difficult for Bae Yunj. Bae Yunj only smiled when she heard this. After loading the gun, she looked at the bull's eye in the distance. Bae Yunj's beautiful eyes narrowed. After she aimed, she heard a gunshot. As soon as the noise stopped, only the people in the live stream who saw the camera suddenly curled up their lips. Even the tips of their eyes were curved. Her bright eyes were filled with high spirits and willful brashness. Gunshots rang out continuously. The viewers in the live broadcast room could not see Bae Yunj's real score. However, this smooth and flowing fighting style and aura was definitely an A-level explosion. This speed was even faster than that delicate little brother from before. Shortly after. Before Bae Yunj's anti-fans could say anything, they heard the cameraman next door curse. Everyone watching the live stream. What did he see? Program team, what are you guys doing? I want to see results. What about the results? Not long after. Everyone's cell phones followed the cameraman's camera and focused on Bae Yunj's results. 99. In an instant. Even the live stream was silent. For some reason, they felt their scalps go numb. Is this real? I'm a little rusty. She muttered to herself. When she was shooting just now, the skin between her thumb and index finger hurt. Chapter 564. Bae Yunj frowned unconsciously. In the eyes of everyone, it was because the results were not satisfactory enough. At this moment, the team members who had just finished training on the field froze when they saw this scene. What did they miss just now? Brother Hui was 93, and this team flower was 99? Was this world a fantasy, or were they dreaming? Do you mind if I try again? Bei Yunj ignored the others and changed to another gun to test the feel of it. Then, he did it again. This time, he tried 15 shots in a row. The screen showed that it was 150 again. Seeing that the touch was back, Bei Yunj's lips curled up. The team members behind were completely petrified. What the hell? At this speed, they almost thought that they were shooting blindly, but in the end, they all hit 10 points. At this moment, looking at Bei Yunj's results, the instructor suddenly had the illusion that he should retire. Not long after, the instructor found his voice. You've learned it before? Yes. Bei Yunj did not deny it. Who learned it from? The instructor was already having a headache. Who was so capable to teach a young girl who was not even 20 years old to such a level? You won't see her. Her surname is Sure. Bei Yunj smiled. It was a female officer who was 5 years older than Bei Yunj in his previous life. At that time, she was only 17 or 18 years old and was already on an A-level mission. Ever since Bei Yunj's accident when he was 12 years old, she would take over Bei Yunj every summer vacation. In the eyes of others, one was the focus of scientific research, and the other was an unprecedented god-level figure in the war zone. However, ever since he was taken over by that person, Bei Yunj had indeed never lost a fight. In addition, when the people in the outside world who were ready to make a move knew that the person who took over the scientific research field was that person from the Sure family, they were so afraid that they gave up. Nuansai Literature Network. At this moment, everyone automatically understood this to mean that he might not be from a country. Are you considering coming here to develop in the future? The instructor was silent for a moment and suddenly asked tentatively. Not considering. After Bei Yunj finished speaking, he asked slowly, can I return to the team now? Yes, yes. After watching Bei Yunj leave, the instructor immediately called his superior. It was not worth it to let go of such a seedling. Throughout the whole process, Ai Hui stood rooted to the ground in a daze. 99. 150 is so, not only does Bei Yunj know how to fight, but he also knows how to use guns. Ai Hui suddenly felt his scalp go numb. He froze at the thought of his arrogant speech just now. But this time, I hope that it will also be a growth in your life. That's a live stream. Can you delete me? Ai Hui turned his head expressionlessly and asked his teammate. His teammates looked at him with pity. Don't you know the prettiest girl? Don't you know that she's so good with guns? I always thought that she was an extremely arrogant young lady. Ai Hui replied honestly. In the end, he was the one who became arrogant. Everyone, tragic, truly tragic. Why are you back? The instructor, who was in the middle of training, froze when he saw Bei Yunj walking back slowly. I won, so I came back. Bei Yunj said this very naturally. The bullet screen went crazy. I feel like I'm watching a police movie. Bei Yunj's marksmanship just now was so professional that I was scared. I'm a retired soldier. I'm also scared when I saw it. Chapter 565. Aw, I'm speechless. She was so good at shooting just now. Did Bei Yunj come to this show to embarrass herself? Why did brother Yu only bring his sister out today? She's so outstanding. I love her so much. Like the instructor, the guests stared at Bei Yunj in a daze. The instructor couldn't help but ask, who's the one who competed with you? His name is Ai Hui. Bei Yunj said unhurriedly. When the instructor heard this, he froze. That was the best member of that team. How could he lose to Bei Yunj? Could it be that he went easy on her? But Ai Hui knew the pros and cons. How could he do something that would get him punished in the war zone? Just as the instructor was about to speak, a phone call suddenly came in. After the instructor picked up the phone, he was shocked by what the other party said. After a long time, he slowly put down the phone. He looked at Bei Yunj with a complicated expression. Go to Building 7. Find someone to take you there. The instructor didn't say who it was, but Bei Yunj could sense that someone wanted to see her. However, it wasn't appropriate to mention this name on the variety show. Soon, a female team member took her to Building 7 in a special car. Along the way, she looked at her in disbelief, as if she was a national treasure. Bei Yunj, she might as well go there and stand in a military posture. However, Bei Yunj didn't expect that when she arrived at Building 7, she would almost be unable to come out because of her shooting results today. On the 6th floor of Building 7. I don't plan to enroll in the military academy. Bei Yunj's eyelids twitched. She didn't expect to encounter such a situation on a variety show. No, you want to. Think about it again. Do you want to? The person who spoke was a middle-aged man who looked energetic. He had several stripes on his shoulders and looked like the manager of this area. Bei Yunj's eyelids twitched as she sat under the air conditioner with a teacup in her hand. I have other important things to do. Is it more important than contributing to the country? The middle-aged man said confidently. Bei Yunj felt that if this man had changed his clothes, she would believe that he was a kidnapper. Bei Yunj said when he couldn't get through to her. How about this? I'll make a call. When that person comes over later, if you can convince him, I'll go and enroll in the first military academy. All right. When the middle-aged man heard this, he thought that Bei Yunj was going to call her parents, so he agreed with a hearty smile. He was the best at reasoning with parents. At this time, Bei Yunj listened to Zhong Xinglin's scolding as she made the call. All right, I'll wait for you here. Zhong Xinglin was so angry that he didn't even have time to take off his white coat. Goover, don't be afraid. I'm going to settle the score with that bastard right now. This was too much. How long had it been since he signed Bei Yunj? Even the people in the theater of operations were trying to poach him. All right. Bei Yunj nodded. After the conversation, Bei Yunj hung up. How was it? What did your parents say? Bei Yunj paused for a moment and looked at him slowly. The corners of her lips curled up. He said that he will come and look for you. All right, it's easy as long as your parents are here. Old Master Ling smiled. The more he looked at Bei Yunj, the more he liked him. He even started to ask if Bei Yunj was engaged and if she would consider a matchmaking session. He still had a grandson with good potential. Bei Yunj was silent the entire time. However, about half an hour later, Zhong Xinglin arrived at the entrance of the war zone. Chapter 566. Elder Zhong. The guard outside saw Elder Zhong standing in an armed car with his hands behind his back. Behind him were more than 10 strong bodyguards in black. The guard was speechless. What was going on? Why aren't you opening the door? Zhong Xinglin glanced at him coldly. His eyes were filled with killing intent. He felt that he was looking for someone to fight with. Compared to the output of martial arts, Zhong Xinglin definitely had no advantage in the war zone. However, the advanced systems and some of the new weapons in their district were all developed by Elder Zhong. The guard had no choice but to open the door. In any case, as the #1 computer scientist in the country, Elder Zhong would not do anything that would lower his status. That was what they thought. At this moment, Elder Zhong got out of the car expressionlessly and walked to Building 7 with more than 10 bodyguards. The director team, who was recording the show and filming the guests, saw a familiar face pass by aggressively. There were more than 10 bodyguards behind him. The scene was inexplicably strange. The director team was speechless. That was Mr. Zhong Xinglin, right? What was he doing here? Everyone had different thoughts, but they were very sensible and did not mention Zhong Xinglin. Only the people in the live stream did not know that a scientific researcher had passed by behind the camera. What do you think of this school? Old Master Leng had already introduced the school to Bei Yunj very naturally, but at this moment, the people outside the door could not stop him. Zhong Xinglin had already kicked the door open and entered. Zhong Xinglin, what are you doing? This was the first time Old Master Leng saw Zhong Xinglin like this. Wasn't he too angry? Zhong Xinglin sneered. Why was this person asking him? I love Chinese network, shouldn't I be the one asking you what you're doing? With that, Zhong Xinglin walked in front of Old Master Leng and was suddenly stopped by Old Master Leng. He did not even see Bei Yunj. Old Master Leng said confidently, this is my successor. Don't do anything rash. Zhong Xinglin's face darkened. He went up and pushed Old Master Leng. Did I agree to what you said? Did Lan Jun agree? Old Master Leng was caught off guard and sat on the sofa. He straightened his neck and looked at him. Did this person drink fake alcohol today? He actually dared to hit him. Soon. Old Master Leng looked at Zhong Xinglin's face and gradually understood who Zhong Xinglin was for. This was the first time he saw Old Master Leng. He almost wanted to fight with him on the spot. Old Zhong, don't tell me you think you can take her away with just a dozen people. Old Master Leng chuckled, looking down on him. What was this place? Old Master Leng heard Zhong Xinglin say gently, take out everything. Outside the door, more than 10 bodyguards in black opened the things. It was the high-level weapon that Old Master Leng had asked Zhong Xinglin for help to design. Old Master Leng suddenly had a bad feeling. However, as expected, Zhong Xinglin smiled gently. If you don't let him go today, I'll throw these things down from the 6th floor. Don't even think about the Computing Institute developing anything for you for the rest of your life. Old Master Leng. Was Zhong Xinglin already so sincere that he wanted to fight with him? Chapter 567. Old Master Leng was most afraid of scientific researchers. Each of them was more stubborn than the other. Just as expected. Old Master Leng heard Zhong Xinglin say coldly, don't make it sound so easy for you to hurt me. Had he been watching some tragic drama recently? Then let's be reasonable, okay? Old Master Leng took a deep breath. He did not want to fight with Zhong Xinglin here either. He tried his best to make his voice sound more kind. What about Yunj? She has the ability to do this. What can she do if you ask her to go to the research institute? Play games in the Computing Institute? Bei Yunj glanced at Old Master Leng unconsciously. Zhong Xinglin was also in disbelief by Old Master Leng's shocking words. So this person did not know Gu at all and already wanted Bei Yunj to be his successor? Zhong Xinglin thought for a moment and glanced at Old Master Leng. Finally, he went to close the door. Zhong Xinglin said, Old Leng, let me tell you the truth. Among the people who tried to steal my woman, you're the least qualified to fight with me. Old Master Leng was speechless. Why was Zhong Xinglin so arrogant recently? However, Zhong Xinglin felt that he was telling the truth. Nance had the Higgins family and Marcus was the director of a top computing institute. Even that Stephen from the medical institute was at least part of the academic circle. What about this Lin guy? Did he have to let a scientific research genius fight with him against a criminal gang? Did the scientific research field give people the illusion that there were many talents this year, making them think that scientific research geniuses were not important? What can she do with you? Can you give her the institute? Why can't I? Even if the door was closed, the people outside could hear the shouting conversation very clearly. The bodyguards and the guards looked at each other. 1717. So, were these two people all right? At this moment, Bei Yunj moved her eyebrows and said, Old Master Leng, thank you for your kindness, but I really can't accept your kindness. Why? Old Master Leng could not believe it. After thinking for a while, Bei Yunj said honestly, because I can't take it. Old Master Leng, why did it sound so perfunctory? Forget it, let's lay our cards on the table. Anyway, Old Leng wants to know everything. Seeing that Bei Yunj didn't stop him, Zhong Xinglin asked straightforwardly, "Do you remember that your superior asked you to mobilize the elites in the theater of operations?" "I remember." However, when he regained his senses, he felt that Zhong Xinglin was being ridiculous and deliberately mystifying. "What does this have to do with Yunj?" Upon hearing this, Zhong Xinglin smiled. "It was said in the last meeting that we will pick out elites from the war zone for protection." He explained kindly, "She is." As soon as he finished speaking, Old Master Leng froze. It took him a while to react. He jerked his head up and looked at Bei Yunj in disbelief. Such a young girl. He thought that he was at least 40 or 50 years old. In the end, he was King 2 rounds younger. Wait a minute, that mathematics award is also hers. Old Master Leng suddenly felt his scalp turn numb. Yes. She was nominated for both the mathematics award and the computing award. So, Old Leng, if you poach her, how are you going to explain it to the higher-ups? Zhong Xinglin was smiling. He really wanted to beat someone up when he saw how happy he was. However, Zhong Xinglin was right. If the two of them fought for her, the higher-ups would definitely help Zhong Xinglin. Chapter 568. Old Master Leng's mood instantly became extremely complicated. At this moment, he could not help but ask, "Then why are you participating in the variety show?" Wasn't she afraid that her true identity would be exposed in the future and cause an accident? "I came with someone." As soon as Bei Yunj finished speaking, Zhong Xinglin was stunned. "You're participating in a variety show?" Looking at the shocked expressions on their faces, her eyebrows twitched but she did not say anything. She simply acquiesced. In the end, although Old Master Leng was very indignant, he could only help Bei Yunj hide her identity. He immediately sent someone to contact the production team and cut out all the shooting segments of Bei Yunj. Since they had already signed the contract for this variety show, they could only continue recording. So, the fans had just created a super topic for Bei Yunj when it suddenly disappeared. However, they could not attract any more attention. At this moment, Zhong Xinglin was also contacting his acquaintances to suppress the popularity of Bei Yunj. They had been in the industry for so many years, but this was the first time they had encountered such a thing. The super topic was gone. It was as if it had never existed. This made Bei Yunj's fans feel like they had seen a ghost. When Bei Yunj returned to the team, the instructor did not have time to react before he saw Old Master Leng walking over. His eyes widened and he immediately saluted Old Master Leng. Then where were they going to get the data? After that, the manager of the war zone was not someone to be trifled with. However, the director did not expect Old Master Leng to look for him to make a few requests. Old Master Leng nodded and walked directly to the director. "You're the director, right? I'm the person in charge of this area. I want to talk to you about some private matters." Hearing this, the director naturally did not dare to refuse. The live broadcast of the shooting had to be deleted as soon as possible. Why? The director could not help but ask. Reduce Bei Yunj's scenes. Suppress all the popularity of Bei Yunj. Usually, when someone made this request to him, it was definitely to ban her. However, how could the higher-ups put in so much effort to ban a little girl? Old Master Leng smiled. "I'm sorry, comrade. This is the arrangement of the higher-ups. For the rest of the work, I hope you can film her back and not show her face." When the director heard this, he also sensed that something was wrong. "But she and Qin Yu are the most popular guests among us," the director murmured. The only possibility was that they wanted to protect Bei Yunj's privacy. However, the director was also very curious. What did Bei Yunj's privacy have that was worth Old Master Leng's protection? If this variety show failed again, his career would be completely ruined. How about this? Do it well first. If you have any difficulties, you can contact me. This time, he had spent a lot of money on this variety show. Some time ago, because of his family's accident, he had lost his family's wealth. After this matter was settled, After a few days, everyone realized that the instructor no longer made things difficult for Bei Yunj. Old Master Leng smiled and said, "The national channel also has the idea of recording a variety show. We can also apply for you to do it." This made the netizens, who had come to watch the variety show because of Bei Yunj, unable to help but at the official account online to ask. Bei Yunj's scenes were getting fewer and fewer with each episode. What was even more surprising was that most of the scenes were actually her back. Instead, they had changed their target. But in the end, a few seconds later, their messages were automatically blocked. The speed of this blocking was even faster than those capitalists suppressing the news. Chapter 569. This made some netizens feel that something was wrong. However, no matter who they gave feedback to, no one answered this question. Gradually, the popularity of Bei Yunj's group dropped and everyone's attention was on Qinyu. Almost no one reacted. Occasionally, Bei Yunj would not have any scenes in the afternoon. Bei Yunj was drinking tea with Old Master Leng in Building 7. After interacting with her for a few days, Old Master Leng felt that Bei Yunj was too compatible with his personality. If Zhong Xinglin had not kept a close eye on her, he really wanted to try poaching her. "Girl, why do you have a call every afternoon?" Old Master Leng looked at her mischievously. Bei Yunj smiled. "It's my older brother." Hearing this, Old Master Leng thought that he was her biological brother and did not ask further. However, on the last day, at the program banquet arranged by the production team, Old Master Leng happened to see a familiar figure when he passed by. It was Hu Shidu. "Shidu, why are you here?" Old Master Leng looked at him in surprise and immediately walked over. "To pick someone up." Hu Shidu nodded slightly at Old Master Leng and glanced at his watch. He was still standing casually by the car. In the eyes of others, the man was wearing an exquisite handmade white shirt. The hem of his shirt was loosely tucked, making his figure look perfect. Under his suit pants, his slender and straight legs were excessively ascetic. His pale-colored eyes were filled with gentleness, but he gave off a feeling that he was 1,000 miles away. No one dared to go forward and talk to him. "Elder?" In Old Master Leng's impression, other than his elders, Hu Shidu did not receive such treatment from the other juniors. "No, he's a child." Hu Shidu smirked, his eyes smiling carelessly. "He's quite hard to coax." For some reason, Hu Shidu felt that there was something wrong with this child's attitude recently. However, Old Master Leng raised an eyebrow in surprise. This was his first time hearing him say this. "Shidu, do you have a girlfriend?" Hu Shidu caressed the silver lighter with his fingertips, a dark smile in his eyes as he said casually, "Not yet." This time, some fans were even selected to watch the ending banquet held by the director. Qin Yojiao and the rest were already doing their makeup backstage. Only Bei Yunj did not show up, nor did she have any intention of going on stage. When the director saw this, he turned a blind eye to it. Anyway, he couldn't leave any footage. When the time came, Bei Yunj would just have to participate in a simple segment to fool her. As soon as she arrived at the banquet, she heard the war zone personnel greeting each other. "Team Flower, why didn't you perform?" This form of address made Bei Yunj's eyes twitch unconsciously. She said lazily, "I'm not performing." Hearing this, the war zone personnel who originally wanted to watch Bei Yunj's performance were a little disappointed. The next moment, a handsome and delicate boy of the same age was pushed in front of her. They were also from the theater of operations. "Bei Yunj, can I talk to you in private?" The boy held his trousers nervously, but he didn't notice that someone was watching them not far away. Bei Yunj looked at the time and did not refuse. She followed him to a quieter place. However, the boy suddenly stammered. "Bei Yunj, I like you." After his confession, the boy's face turned red and he looked very innocent. Bei Yunj narrowed her eyes calmly. "I'm sorry, it doesn't matter if you accept it or not. I just want a chance to pursue you."